Here we go.
Hey, this is a podcast. You are all listening to Stick Drift, a bi-weekly show where we talk about the world of video games and the culture surrounding them. I am your host, and with me is my partner in crime, forever Switch 2 owner, and best friend in the world,
Narita.
Narita. There he is. If you like it or hate it, please would you rate it. Follow the rule of cool and leave a like on the mic. You can find us on YouTube at StickDriftPodYT, on Twitter/X at StickDriftYT, all lowercase, and lastly on our Facebook page, Stick Drift. We're also on Spotify. Each of our content has its own channel, so for a specific podcast, please subscribe to each to make sure you get the newest audio content in your feed. We got the Switch 2. We did it. It's done.
It's here. I mean, it feels like a fairy tale, you know? Like, it feels like fantasy, you know? Like, we were there when it was announced. We were there when pre-orders went up. And now we're here playing it. And boy, howdy, is it... it's a treat. It's the most luxury piece of hardware I think I've ever laid hands on.
Yeah, it feels very premium.
Yeah.
Very, very premium. Yeah, to kind of plug something I did, I talked about my launch experience on Substack. I wrote a piece on it. It's called The Big Birthday Launch because it launched on my birthday. So if you guys like what I do, check it out. It's cool. But yeah, once I got that thing in my hands, I was like, this thing feels like super luxe, you know, LUXE. And it's just like, it is a step forward in every single way from the Switch 1. It is better screen, larger, more comfortable, better Joy-Cons, better, fidelity on everything. The magnetic snap of the Joy-Cons is better. The buttons are bigger. It's just, it's such an improvement. It like kind of offends me. We had to go so long without a Pro model or something. I don't know about you.
Yeah, no, I get that totally. I mean, it's just, it needed to happen. We needed this model. I've been waiting years and years and years. I skipped out on all of the new releases of the Switch. I skipped out on the, OLED, on the Switch Lite. I'm like, I'm just going to stick with my launch Switch. It'll get me through until this next one comes out. And I'm like, okay, when's the next thing coming out? When is this happening? Like, it's been a while, guys. So I'm glad we finally got that.
Yeah.
It was worth the wait.
It was worth the wait. It was just like, you talked about it. We were there like every step of the way from the rumors we heard about, last year to, getting a last Switch Direct, Switch 1 Direct, and then the Switch 2 Direct, and then things getting, pushed off even further. Like, we've been through every step of it. It feels like we've been trading our podcast in on it a lot, like Switch News, what's going on with that. It feels like the pulsing heartbeat of the core of our show for the last half year.
Yeah.
So it is surreal to have it sitting on my entertainment center over there.
Yep.
And having had played a lot of it. That's basically all I've been playing is my Switch 2. Like, my PS5 got some play this week after many hours playing my Switch 2, though. Yep, there it is.
There it is.
For the
folks, for the video exclusive.
Yes, he has it. There's proof. I would show you proof, but I have to get up.
No, you're good.
I promise it's over there. But let's talk about the launch experience a little bit. So we had very different things happen. You, for instance, got it shipped to you.
Yep.
And I actually went out into the real world to get it. So let's talk a little bit about that. When you basically tell me exactly what you found in your bag. Let's start there. All
right, this is a fun story. I probably did tell you about this. So
it is fun, and I did hear about this beforehand. Before you told me, I was like, oh, that's fun. So.
Yeah. So basically, I got mine shipped from Walmart, and I guess to kind of throw the scent off of the thing, because the thing arrived like an hour before I was awake for work, and so I'm like, oh gosh, I better get up and get this thing. So I ran out and grabbed the thing, and it was luckily on my doorstep. And
Yeah.
so I grabbed it and started opening it up. I'm like, wait a second, what? There's a thing of chips in here, a thing of pizza Pringles, and a thing of orange dreamsicle Coca-Cola. I'm like, okay, sweet. I got a snack to go with my Switch 2. This is like the best day ever. But yeah, my Switch 2 was in there. I was a little worried for a second when I started seeing those items, and then I'm like, oh, no, they just did that as like a bonus thing and to throw the scent off of the Switch 2. Cool.
Yeah, that's what I heard, is that they basically didn't tell anybody before launch day, that they just wanted to do something nice for gamers.
Oh, is that right?
Yeah.
That's so cool. I like that. I didn't realize that was like a Walmart corporate thing to... I never saw that story, so I just experienced it. So, and it was cool.
Yeah.
It was fun. Like, yeah, I was thankful for it. I was like, cool. I got this. I got this $500 paperweight, and now I got some snacks to go with it. But no,
paperweight is reductive. But...
yeah, it turns out it's not a paperweight. Fun fact: it's actually as soon as I started using it, I'm like, wait a second, this is so much better than my Switch. Oh my gosh. I don't think I could go back to the Switch 1.
No, never. I mean, I'm trying to think of the times I would even touch a Switch 1, and I don't think I ever would if I had the option,
This is the most I've seen a console be just a straight up upgrade, right? Like,
yes.
With like PlayStation
100%.
1 to PlayStation 2, PlayStation 2 to PlayStation 3, like, the previous system had its uses and had its worth, right? But right here, right now, this is I think the first time, I should be talking Nintendo terms, but this is like the first time where I'm really like, I don't think I could even go back to the old one. Because like, even with the Wii U, right? Like, yeah, the Wii U could do pretty much everything a Wii could do, but it was just emulating the Wii. Like, that was just an emulation layer for the Wii, so like there was no merit to playing Wii games on the gamepad other than being able to use the gamepad as a screen for your Wii games. Oh boy.
Right.
And I did that. I'll be the first to admit I did that quite a bit. Let me tell you, Mario Galaxy on that gamepad is not great.
I can imagine.
But I did that. But for the Switch 2, everything Switch 1 is just in such a more optimized shell. And it just feels like... And, I'm going to say it, right? I think game chat is a game changer for the Switch 2. I really do. I know people were making fun of it. Oh, Nintendo discovered Discord. But it's just so nice to just be able to game chat with friends while you're on your Nintendo system and not have to use any third-party stuff, set up any third-party stuff. I'm a tech guy. I know all about tech. I can set up all that stuff. But it's nice to not have to do that. Like, you just boot it up and everything you want for screen sharing and chatting with friends built into the thing. It's really nice.
You're telling me I don't got to use that Splatoon 2 voice chat app anymore?
No, not the Splatoon 2 voice chat app. Listen, they've realized the error of their ways, right?
Oh, yeah.
That was the error of their ways, was that voice chat app. What were they thinking? We'll never know.
Don't worry. Yeah, don't worry. They are still making apps for their games called Zelda Notes. We'll get into that a little bit later. When I talk about the upreses of those games, but yeah, it is exactly what you're saying. It is that break of like, this is just a better thing of the thing I used to have.
Yes.
Very rarely do we see in the console space such a linear move, a lateral almost, but with like all the bells and whistles you expect from a current handheld, I guess. It's not okay, so it's not a PC handheld really in terms of its technological specs. It's more of like a PS4 sort of architecture, which kind of dates it already. but it's still advanced in some metrics too. Like, it has things that can run at 120 hertz. It has 1440p modes, 4K resolutions for some of their performance modes on some games. Like, for instance, Metroid Prime 4 is going to have a performance and just kind of like a framey sort of thing if you want. It is advanced in the ways that you want without being a complete break in what it is functionally. Like, it is a Switch 2, and it
Yeah.
literally feels like that. So,
Yep.
yeah, when I heard that you got it on your doorstep, I was like, oh, thank God, no porch pirates, right? I was hoping
I was worried about that, so I'm glad that despite having an hour lag time, I've never had trouble with that in my location. To be honest, everyone who I live near is kind of respectful to each other. I've never heard of any issues of that happening around here, and it's kind of crazy because it's kind of like a pretty big crime area, but I think it's because it's such a crime area that everyone who lives here, like in this complex specifically, is like, hey, listen, we're gonna watch out for each other's stuff and like not mess with each other's stuff. So I've never had any issues with that here, so it's kind of been awesome.
That's good. That's good. Yeah, I mean, I've been seeing you play at a fair bit. Just while I'm at work and I'm on break, I'm like, oh, Noah's on. It's kind of fun. Not to dox you. I don't
Dox.
Want to. But yeah, it's I got one in my hands too. It was the entire process was really painless. I will say, it does not feel like stores did not have the stock to meet demand. It feels like Nintendo really pushed a lot of consoles out there.
Yeah.
So much so that, some actual real figures came out. This was speculation last week that it hit a threshold of around 3 million sold, which would already make it the biggest single day console launch of all time. But it was 3.5 by Nintendo.
Yeah.
They officially broadcast that out for Switch 2 sales on day one. And yeah, it's good that they had enough supply to meet demand.
Yep.
Enough to beat that launch wave because, at least when I picked mine up, I went to GameStop. It opened at 10. They didn't let the midnight launch happen because the mall couldn't stay open for that because the owner didn't want to hire a police force. I think I got into it on.
I think so. Yeah.
So I won't go into length about it here, but I went just slightly before 10 o'clock to the mall location and waited in the pre-order line. And there was a bunch of walk-ins too, people that were just walking up saying, hey, there's Switch 2 on the door. I'm going to go buy this, right?
Yeah.
And they got all those people through the line. They bought their Switches. And then us pre-order elites, we got in line, and we just pretty much everyone paid for theirs beforehand, so everyone just picked them up,
Yeah.
and then I just walked out like it was that easy. And I wrote about this in my piece a little bit. Like, it felt like a bomb in my car. I'm like, oh my God, I got to get this thing home. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like,
that's how I felt when
it
mine
was
was
just-
sitting outside. I'm just like, oh man, I don't think anyone would steal it, but I still have like that idea in my head, like, oh man, what if somebody tries to steal this thing? That would suck.
Yeah, totally. Like, I was just like, I gotta get this thing in my house. I have to get this thing in my house. And once I did, it was like a huge weight off my shoulders because you especially when I'm going out into the world these days, like, another thing I wrote about is just like I worry about people's manners these days. Because with the advent of COVID and people's habits changing and people being at home more, a bunch of young kids growing up through the pandemic, like some people just leave manners at the door. So I was worried that it would be pretty hectic and uncivil when I showed up for the Switch launch, Switch 2 launch, and it was anything but. It was they were pretty much all adults there. Like, everyone was very casual, very chill. I was worried about it getting out of the mall too, but had no issues. Like, I'm just leery about that stuff because the mall has a bunch of randos there,
Yep.
But everyone was cool, calm and collected. The guys in the pre-order line were cool. We were talking about, so one of the guys was trading in some of his Switch games, I guess towards his pre-order on launch day. I don't know. Maybe it's games he already finished. We were talking about Hyrule Warriors, and we were talking about Omega Force, and they seemed shocked that I knew what the Yellow Turban Army was, and they were like, "Oh, you know Dynasty Warriors, huh?" And they wanted to talk about it at length. And I was like, "That's all I know.
That's all I
about
know.
the Yellow Turban."
I'm not a Dynasty Warriors guy. Ah.
Basically. But I only remarked on that because one of the guys had a copy of he was trading in. Like, oh, a Megaforce, huh? And they're like, yeah. I'm like, oh no, I opened Pandora's box here. I gotta get out of here.
Yeah.
But it was one of those things where like I disengaged, got my Switch, and left. I was like, bye. Thanks. I was like, that was a close one. I don't know shit about those games. Yeah, I got mine home. I did the fatherly chores to make sure I had time to do it all, and finally got sat down. Taking it out of its box, it was like, I don't know. It felt like the briefcase in Pulp Fiction. It was just like, oh, everything was very nice and laid out and covered in plastic. And, getting your hands on the thing, you're like, wow, this feels immediately different. Like, everything about this is premium, a lot bigger, and it's super sleek, Those are the first three things I thought about it. I think you agree with me. The build quality is just, it's on a different stratosphere than the original.
Absolutely.
The original kind of feels chintzy by this metric, don't you think?
Yeah. Well, yeah, and it was like that moment with the Switch and the Wii U, right? Like, the Wii U gamepad feels like a Coco Melon toy, Like,
I feel like a Fisher Price tablet.
Yeah, like, and
Leap pad.
Yeah, Leap Pad. Yeah. Oh gosh, I had one of those. But I had the original one of those actually.
Oh yeah.
Cartridges and everything. Yep.
Sure.
There's some good games for that thing actually. But and then we switched to the Switch, and the quality is just like night and day. But then we got the Switch to the Switch 2, and it's like, oh my gosh, a handheld console can feel this premium. Like, maybe if I was like buying a bunch of these like handheld PCs, like the Razer one or like the Nvidia Shield or something like that, the ROG, right? Maybe if I had felt one of those beforehand, I would like, I'd be like, this is about the same as those. I don't know. I haven't used those. What I've used is the Switch one and the Steam Deck. I own both of those, and this feels more premium than both of those, and that's saying a lot because that Steam Deck is like a premium handheld PC, and it works great for that. It's a great system, but the Switch 2 just feels a lot better to play portably than the Steam Deck ever did.
Yeah.
The Steam Deck's just a bit too clunky, I think, a bit too heavy because it is that handheld PC sort of thing, so it's got a lot in there. But it's nice and portable and hooks up to TVs pretty easily, so I like it for that.
Yeah, and it's got the mouse pads on there too, which is relatively imprecise, and just like for the Switch 2's functionality, I think it is innovative in the right ways.
It has mouse controls.
True to, that's exactly what I was going to say. Like, it has progressions in this market where like even the Steam Deck doesn't have a proper mouse. Like the way it's implemented, and I tried it today. Like when you pull apart these Joy-Cons, and the way they pull apart and go back in is super addictive. That's like all I did for the first 2 days is out in. But you basically undo one of the Joy-Cons, and it works literally on your leg. I've tried this, and it works super precise. I was like shocked. I was like, how is this happening? How is this possible?
Yeah.
And I was able to like mouse over to everything and do it like on my kneecap. And I was like, this is insane. This is actually crazy. So yeah, you have that. As for functionality, you mentioned game chat. Like you and I, we were willing to cast this thing aside.
Yes.
Because technically this game chat is basically, Nintendo Discord.
Yep.
It doesn't run the greatest.
Nope.
But when you take it as it is and for what you use it for, it's basically just video game shorthand.
Yeah.
Right? That's what you and I have talked about. And it's just easy because all you're doing is clicking the C button, which will become a premium feature later, a pay to use button at some point, whatever.
Next
But
year.
you, I, and our buddy Drake, I mean, we were just in chats all this week.
Yep.
Easily hooked up, able to see each other's games, and they're running at 5 to 10 frames a second, but you're seeing them going like, okay, I know where you are.
Yep.
Because for our situation, we were playing Dark Souls 1 together.
Yep.
Right. Which we'll talk about in the games portion for sure. But yeah, that was cool. That's something I haven't experienced before because none of the new consoles do this. You could do this on PC, but
you can do it on PC, right? But that requires a PC setup, right? And not everyone wants to go out and do a full PC setup. Some people just want to buy the thing and have it work out of the box. That's fine. Like I said before, I'm a tech guy. But that doesn't mean everyone else has to become a tech guy to accommodate, what I do. You know what I mean? It's consoles like these are going to keep the console market alive because the console market, PC market's booming. I should say. I don't necessarily think console market's dying, but PC market is booming, taking a lot of that space that consoles used to own. A lot of people are turning from console to PC. And I think consoles like this are going to stay afloat because they're willing to look at, okay, what's PC doing differently that we can incorporate? Oh, it's easier to play with friends, and it's easier to see what friends are doing and chat with friends on PC. Well, we'll just incorporate that into the console. And that's a brilliant move on Nintendo's part, something that I wouldn't honestly expect from them to figure out. And I know, consoles are integrating Discord and things like that. And I'm not too privy on how well those Discord integrations are on those consoles, but I do know that I've heard a lot of complaints from console users on those Discord integrations. So,
yeah, it's you mentioned just the space that we're in for hardware.
Yeah.
I agree with you. The PC market is booming.
Yeah.
And a lot of it has to do with people diversifying the ways they want to play their games.
Sure.
They are usually locked into the one ecosystem they have, but if they can play it multiple places in different ways, they will. That's how you're getting the handheld PC niche.
Yep.
You're getting that a lot now with all these boutique handhelds, these PC handhelds like the ROG Ally, like the Steam Deck, like the Lenovo Legion Go. All of those are these niche subsections of a larger part of the pie, right? And then you basically see Xbox pivoting off of this, making their, having a partner handheld with an Xbox button on it to carve back into the market there. But they're moving away from console sales because they are poorly performing because everything's an Xbox, your phone's an Xbox, the ROG's an Xbox. They would love a PlayStation to be an Xbox. That'll never happen. But, they're getting out of that, really. It's become less the focus. They're selling more games than ever on PlayStation, Switch, whatever.
Yeah.
And then basically PlayStation has picked up the slack there where they're doing better than ever. The PS5 is still selling at a record pace, even though console pricing around the world is going up, even though it hasn't raised in this territory for PlayStation. And basically, older consoles are getting more expensive. There's been moves and shakes in the hardware space. And now that's the setting you have until the Switch comes and is going to become the most successful handheld you could have. That's what it's basically carved that niche with the Switch 1. But now that it has created the second model, you're taking everything that you bought on Switch 1, new SKU, and making it better than ever.
Yeah.
And it feels more iterative for sure, but in this kind of roller coaster of an ecosystem, that's good.
Yeah.
A known commodity is what people want these days. Even if the price is a lot you can balk at it for sure. But it doesn't feel like you're misplacing your money. You feel the money in your hands.
Yeah.
I don't know if you agree, but that's how
I agree.
I feel.
Yeah, I think now that I've felt the thing and played with the thing, I think the price point is where it needs to be.
Right.
For the components in the handheld hardware. So, Yeah, and
Yep.
yeah, like you were saying, that ecosystem. That's why those handheld PCs did feel so safe, right? Because you could bring
Yes.
over your PC ecosystem, your PC games, but with the Switch 2, you can bring over those Switch games that and a lot of PC players already had the Switch, right? Because at least for the Nintendo exclusive things and other exclusives that were on there, right? They would have the Switch, and they would have a good library by now, and so they get to bring that library over on top of the promise of games that are exclusive to this thing, again by
New
Nintendo.
games.
Yeah, new games.
Yes.
And so, not by Nintendo, like that Bravely Default remake that's exclusive to the Switch 2. I don't think I can't foresee them putting that on any other system due to the inclusion of the mouse mini games that are on there.
Maybe PC, maybe, but even then, I don't.
You would need two mice. I don't know any PC game that uses two mice. I've never seen two mice on a PC. So
Okay. Yeah, it might be tailored just for that. There might be some way to work around it.
I don't think they would work personally, but I'll talk about that when we're talking about games. But
yeah.
The point is that this thing, I think it's going to eat the lunch of that PC handheld market in some ways. Like I think
so too.
it's going to start dominating that piece of the pie, and people are like, well, I don't need this handheld PC when I can have this thing that does exclusives, and then I can just play my PC games on my PC at home. Like, I think that's the right balance there.
I think I agree with you. I think I do. Usually for PC handhelds, it's for folks that have PCs already.
Right.
You're not getting a PC handheld if you don't have a PC.
Right.
For the most part. So I think regardless, people that have PC would get a Switch over. Because basically the PC is fitting their needs, right? Yeah. But like you said, the Switch it has the exclusivity, whereas the other two consoles selling point. Like even PlayStation is putting games on Switch. That has Lego Horizon Adventure. Patapon on Switch, for Pete's sake. Like, they're starting small.
Is that right? Do they have Patapon on Switch?
They do have Patapon 1 and 2, I think, on Switch, and maybe 3.
Are those out yet, or?
If they're not out, they're coming out.
I think they are, because I would have seen those and lost my mind.
They have been announced. They have
been announced, I know, but I haven't seen them in the store yet. Otherwise, I would be losing my mind.
Right. And we'll get to talking about the spiritual successor in the Summer Games portion, for sure, because I want you to talk about that if you've seen the new stuff. Like the necessity of getting a handheld PC lessens if you don't already own a regular PC. But like you said, console people are moving in that direction where they go like, the thing that scares off people buying and like building a PC is they don't know what to look for. They don't want to build one, But it's easier now more than ever to just pick and choose what you want with like very minimal guidance, making it a very console plug and play experience if you want that. So with that sort of stressor lifted from some people, some folks feel more comfortable just moving over, But yeah, it's that shakeup of, PlayStation selling more than ever, but the exclusivity on console is going away for the most part, unless you're a Switch. Like, that's kind of how it's gone.
Yeah, right? Basically, yeah, because like even that Patapon 1+2 replay you were talking about, that's coming to PS5, Switch, and PC. So.
Yep.
And that's July 11th is when that's coming.
July 11th. Yeah, they showed that at the. Was it at the Switch 1 Direct?
It was, yep, it was. So I thought it was going to be just on Switch and PlayStation, but looks like they're putting it on PC as well. Probably end up picking that up on PC, but we'll see.
Okay, yeah. But, that's... I mean, we're still in the preamble, technically. That's kind of like us getting our Switch 2s.
Yeah.
We've been playing a lot of the Switch, so let's talk about a couple of the games that we've been touching. So, if you don't mind, I'll talk about Mario first, because it's not going to be as long. Before we do that, let's take a quick break real quick. Yeah, for sure. Let's do that, and then when we come back, we will jump into some Switch 2 games. And we're back. Let's talk about some Switch 2 games. What do you say?
Yeah, I like games.
Yes, I love games. Games are my life.
You gotta have like this
Oh my
shirt
God.
that like I had this shirt when I was a kid. It was like gaming ruined my life. Good thing I have 2 extra lives, and I had like it had Gallagher or something on it. I don't remember, but
Gallagher. Nice.
good thing I have 2 extra lives. It was such a dumb shirt. I saw one of those shirts out in the wild the other day, just like one of those like I'm a gamer shirts. Those are great.
Yeah, that is great. Yeah, I'm a gamer, like, and you get the dumb controller thing.
Yeah, the dumb controller thing. It's always the dumb controller thing on there. Yep. You got it.
The
you
nondescript, you know,
whatever
public use
controller. Yeah, public use controller. Yep.
The game station controller.
Oh yeah, the game
One of those
station.
things.
We love the game station.
It's our favorite console. It's my favorite
Yeah,
console. don't know
I
about
love the
you.
game station.
Yes,
I'm a real
and
gamer.
honestly, let's talk about the game station games that we've been playing.
Yeah, we've
The
been playing a
first
lot
to
of game
be, the
station.
first of those, yes, so much game station. I love Mario Kart World for my game station.
Yeah, that's what they should have gone
Yeah.
with, was the game station. Just
Yeah,
to
stop what
middle
you're doing.
finger Sony. Like, just rename the console Game Station and get more sales
Yeah,
than Sony.
After almost 200 years in business, Nintendo's shaking it up, baby.
Yeah, that's right.
We're changing it to Game Station. This is Miyamoto. We are changing
I
it
am
to Game
Miyamoto.
Station. You know the thing they do where they go on Twitter and they talk about the thing and they go, "This is Miyamoto," and you're like, "Oh, he wrote this."
He wrote this. It was him.
He's telling me about the Zelda delay. He said it.
He said it. It was him.
He said, "This is Miyamoto. He's at his keyboard right now."
Miyamoto's possessing the spirit of this man right now.
Yeah, exactly. Sorry, I was muting myself. I was laughing. Yeah, totally. So that's also crazy. I've been playing Mario Kart World. I have seen credits in Mario Kart World. I've beat that.
Who
game,
worked on
kind
it?
of. Not Miyamoto. Actually, he is.
They kicked him off?
Literally, he is literally nowhere to be seen in the credits.
Oh my gosh. He's too busy with that theme park and
Yeah.
the Mario movie too, probably, and the Zelda movie probably.
Yes.
He's got to be involved in that Zelda movie.
He is more of a Nintendo ambassador than ever. We'll put
Yep.
it that way.
Yep.
Well, let's be specific. He's more of a Nintendo executive. You know,
Almost a mascot.
he's right. He's
Yeah.
long stopped directing video games. That
Yeah.
is no longer what he does. He has not done that for years and years. I mean, what is the last game he directed? I don't actually know. It has been a long, long time. Maybe it was a Pikmin game. I don't even know.
He probably had
you know.
involvement with that Pikmin 4 game. He loves those games.
I'm sure he did.
Those are his babies.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
That's exactly what I mean. Like
Yeah.
he's the Pikmin guy. When you think of Pikmin, you think of Miyamoto because he's like, I love bugs. I love little alien bugs.
Yeah,
Picking up
the whole
apples
thing
and
is
throwing
like,
them.
what is it? Like he liked collecting bugs as a kid, and so he did Pikmin. I don't know.
Yeah, every childhood memory from Miyamoto has been distilled into a game. He had a dream where he was an Italian plumber, and that became Mario.
No, it was because they had a guy named Mario working on their plumbing there at
Yeah.
Nintendo office. Yeah.
That's what it was. But I've played that there Mario Kart World, and let me tell you, that's a good video game. It is a very good video game. I think it is not the best Mario Kart, but it is one of the best, and I think it's the most fun to play.
You're saying Double Dash is better.
I think Double Dash is better. Yes, I do.
That's a good game.
Yes, it is. I think that might be the best Mario Kart game. Don't
It's
put away
not
your
a
shot.
think. It's a no. You know it's the best Mario Kart game because it is.
It's very, very good.
But World.
Yeah,
Let's continue on World. Yeah.
Yes, let's talk about World. I could talk about Double Dash all day. I really
Yes.
could. Yeah, it is really. Pardon me. It is really good. I think almost everything about the way the game plays is awesome. I have some issues with how many carts are on screen at once, the chaos of which, is a little much at times. But the tracks have never been better. It has literally the best rainbow road there has ever been in a Mario Kart game. The actual mechanics in the game are just super fun. They've overhauled pretty much everything about the locomotion of driving a Mario Kart. You can like wall jump, you can grind rails, you can do backflips, you can do tricks. You can wear costumes for different characters. Every character has a certain amount of costumes you can collect, either through races or in the open world. And yeah, that's really the hook of this one are the new mechanics for sure, and it's the open world aspect of this game. I think the open world part of this game is very weak. I think it's very, very weak. The structure is almost, anything but. It feels like an empty landmass with a couple obstacle courses in there. It is pretty much nothing. Basically, going from point A to point B is doing just that. You just drive, going from landmass to landmass. It feels sparse in a way that it should have been their Breath of the Wild moment, and I feel like it is sorely lacking in that space. They could have done so much with it, and it feels completely feature barren, aside from a few collectibles and, like I said, obstacle course sort of missions. So, with that said, I think the racing has never been better. I think the new knockout tour they added is maybe the best part of those races, where it is basically a cross-country race with six tracks that you kind of go end-to-end to, and you have to keep reaching a minimum threshold of racers. So, for instance, every time you hit a milestone in this 6-lap race, basically it's like sprints end-to-end. So you're going to this, to this, to this, all the way across the map. You have to reach a certain player threshold or you get eliminated, so knockout. I imagine it'd be really good with friends, like really, really good. From what I played online and played by myself, it is super fun, super entertaining. It's very stressful. But my main issues with the game are this, and the knockout tour really shows a lot of the issues I have with that game, because they have a lot of traffic spam. Let's call it that. Traffic spam. There's 24 racers and they're all throwing shit at you, and it gets really, really cumbersome, I will say. Yeah, so like traffic spam is the best way I could say this, because like the amount of carts in these matches, be they real or NPCs, the width of the roads, like all of it is funneling this sort of chaos down the fairway, right? There's just too many things happening at any time. If you're in first place, you are going to get blue shelled. It's not a matter of if, it's a matter of when.
Yeah,
and sometimes
I can see that.
I got blue shelled 3 times in one match.
Oh wow, I've never had that happen.
So it is broken. They need to fix it. I think it is a major problem. It becomes unfun. I think there is just straight up too many racers, and it feels like they're just trying to add to the bigness of the world. Go like, we have so many people racing, but like in practice, it is not very fun to do that. I've had more fun playing by myself than with people, like by far.
They probably just need to turn down the spawn rates of some of those like items, like the blue shell and things like that.
And that's the issue, because there are so many question marks. Like you're hitting a question mark every mile and a half. It feels like on a track. You round a corner, you're getting it. So like the rates are just increasing. They just need to do a balance pass over that thing, I think.
Yeah.
But yeah, I've been playing primarily so you unlock racers by beating different circuits. It's very like Smash Brothers that way, where you reach a certain milestone in the game, you get a character. You finish this cup, you get Donkey Kong in his Donkey Kong Bonanza
How does that look?
Style. Looks really good. I
Yeah.
love the way he looks. He looks so dumb, like
Yeah.
in a really good way.
Yep.
He looks so playful, so dumb, so old Nintendo artwork.
Yeah, expressive.
Look and
Yeah.
feel. I loved it. I
Yeah.
love the way he
I like
looks.
that new design.
He has one outfit in the game,
Mm.
which is crazy to me. Like Mario, for instance, has 9, and I understand he's like Mario, but like there, it's not even. Like Toad has
Yeah.
more outfits than Donkey Kong. Like it doesn't make any sense. Like I'm sure they'll add some stuff in the future.
They probably
I
add
think
some
this is going
stuff
to
when
be-
Bonanza comes out, and then they're like, "Hey, you like
Yeah.
Bonanza? Check out Mario Kart World." Or, "Hey, you like Mario
Right.
Kart World? Check out Bonanza."
Basically, like, oh, you remember those overalls from freaking Bonanza? We're putting that on him. They might do that. I really don't know, but. I would like more costumes for Donkey Kong. It's not the end of the world, but getting the costumes are fun. They're randomized. There's like different food vendors throughout the world, like these Yoshi cafes. And depending on what part of the world you're in, they'll serve you different food. Different food will give you different costumes if they have one in that they can be unlocked with. So, like for instance, Mario has 9 costumes, so there's a lot of potential. If he's going through a food place in multiple regions, there's a good chance he'll get a costume. But like if you're playing as Donkey Kong or Toad or something that has very few outfits, it might revert the costume you're wearing back to your original base character, or it won't do anything at all, right? So there's some fun tweaks on the formula for some good spin. The music in this game, dude, is so good. Like it's remixes of a lot of Mario Kart tracks. Like it is, dude. They are bopping on this thing. I was listening to the OST on YouTube. I'm like, this is just so good. Like Nintendo music lately has gotten so good. From like Tears of the Kingdom's been really good. This has been good. Odyssey had amazing music. The Splatoon games have always had really good music, but it's like this new wave of Nintendo whimsy that they really capture here. I think it's some of the best like remixes and arrangements I've heard from a Mario Kart game or a Nintendo game lately. It's really impressive, the soundtrack here, and there's a lot of it too. There's so much of it. When you finish all the circuits, you unlock the last cup. I forget what the cup name is, but it has Rainbow Road in it. And when you finish the 4th race on that, which is Rainbow Road, you hit credits and it gives you a congratulations with a picture of all the characters or whatever, the Nintendo thing they usually do for their games when you finish them, which is kind of nice. I like whenever Nintendo thanks me for playing their game, I smile when they do that. I have 3-starred every circuit, which means I have beaten them all on 150cc. Not terribly hard to do, but you have to really deal with just like a lot of item spam, especially when you're in first all the time. Because at some point, I learned the track super well. Like I was always getting in first, and then I would get blue shelled, and you just hope you don't get blue shelled right before the end, because that happened a lot to me, a lot. Like NPCs were doing that, so I would try to like be strategic and stay behind second for as long as possible, and then slingshot towards the end of the race. And when this might have been in Mario Kart 8. Another mechanical thing you can do is if you stay behind a cart for long enough, it'll give you this draft that you can use to slingshot yourself past them, which is really cool. I think Mario Kart World is a great game. It is a great game. It's not an amazing video game. It is literally an 8. Like it feels like an 8. I like it better than Mario Kart 8 for sure. I don't like Mario Kart 8 that much. I think it's the best Mario Kart since at least Wii, if not DS. DS was a really good Mario Kart game. Like I said, my favorite's Double Dash, so that's even before those. But it is a top 3 to 5 Mario Kart game for sure. I think it is not a must-buy game. It is a very good game. I've put about 10 to 15 hours in it, so I have seen a fair amount of everything. I've done a lot of the open world stuff. I've gotten about half of the costumes for all the characters. And so another thing is they have a bunch of racers, but they also have this new feature where they do NPC racers or enemy characters. Like you can be a bee from like Mario Galaxy. You can be a snowman from Mario Odyssey. You can be freaking Shy Guy if you want to, and some of them have costumes too. Like Shy Guy has costumes, right? But it's not everybody. It's not all one-to-one. You can be a Wiggler if you want to be a Wiggler.
Wiggler.
Yeah, there's a lot of stuff you can do, in terms of there's a lot of variety in the characters you're playing. It doesn't have the the roulette system of picking your cart pieces. It has you pick a cart, you go. You just do it based on weight. And they included flying now. It's not parachutes anymore. It's flying, and you have more direct control over that when you're going over large ravines and stuff. But yeah, I think it's a great game. It is a good Switch title. My issue with the Switch launch is that there's not enough exclusives, like in terms of Nintendo first party. It feels like they really should have had Bonanza launch alongside this thing, and it wouldn't have felt so sparse.
Maybe like a Fire Emblem 2 or something like that,
Whatever. They
Give
could have
us
done something,
yeah.
I just the having one major Nintendo game with one on the horizon literally a month past it and then a bunch of ports feels a little slim. It feels a little slim, even though the games that got ported are good games. They are good games. Cyberpunk's a good game. Hitman's a good game. Bravely is a remaster. It's a good game. They released Deltarune chapters. Like it feels pretty sparse for a console launch. It really does. But I think Mario Kart is good. I don't think it's worth $80. I really don't. I really supremely don't. I think they are basically flat. It's flagellation to do that. Like I think if you are not buying it with the bundle, I feel for you. Like I think it is a $50 to $60 video game. That's not saying it's not a great game. It is. It's very good. I'm glad I played it. I will be playing more of it. That said, after I beat all these circuits, I haven't played it in a couple days. It's not that I've forgotten about it, but once the impetus to finish things is gone, you don't feel as enticed to play it. I also don't have a lot of people that have it. So
it's very much a multiplayer first game, single player second game.
100%.
That's just how Mario Kart
100%.
typically is. I'd say that DS game though, that probably had the best single player content with that mission mode. That mission mode was really good on the DS, Mario Kart DS.
Yeah, right. This feels like it could be a platform. It feels very sparse in some ways, but fully featured in others with its new modes. Like I said, the knockout mode's good. They have they brought back the battle mode too, so there's that balloon popping thing there too. I've never liked that mode.
I think it's fine. It's harmless.
You can play 2-player online and 2-player multiplayer. It's got all the stuff you want functionally from a Mario Kart game. I really think the amount of racers is a problem. The amount of items spam is a real balance issue. I think the open world is a missed opportunity. I think it's a huge missed opportunity. They could have done so much with that thing. They could have made it like Forza Horizon or Burnout Paradise, where it's just like a multiplayer hub to hang out. And they gesture at that with like the photo modes and stuff, but they just don't do anything with it. It's a missed opportunity, and it's pretty disappointing, that stuff. It's pretty cool that you can do that stuff, but it feels perfunctory if you're not doing the races. Then there are like completion progression things on the map. Like you'll see like, oh, in this area you've gotten this amount of stuff, like these badges or these coins, or you've hit this many P blocks, and doing the P block will show an obstacle course to do, that sort of thing. So there are some progression things you could do, but I don't know. Once you do that, you're even completing. It's like 20 hours for everything. So I don't know. I don't think you need to run out and get this game. If you're getting a Switch 2, there's a good chance you have it already.
Yeah.
It's a good game, not a great game. I wish it was amazing, but it's not. So yeah, that's Mario Kart World. I like that game. It's a very good one. So
fair enough.
Yeah, that's the big one I've been playing for the Switch 2. I will get into the other game I put a lot of time into on the odds and ends portion, but you've also been playing a lot of Switch 2 stuff.
I have. I've basically one game.
Yeah. So okay, you've been playing Bravely Default, Flying Fairy HD Remastered.
Yep.
How many hours have you put in that thing?
A lot. I can pull it up real quick, but
I'm kind of curious. I kind of want to see.
In the meantime, it's Bravely Default. It is a remake of not really a remake. It's more of a remaster, really. I've got 49 hours in this game.
Oh wow!
Yeah.
Wow. Nice.
So, I'm almost completed on it. I'm probably gonna put around 60 to 70 hours, maybe 75 max, and probably be done
Okay.
there.
You can see the end of the rainbow there, right?
Yep. So, but yeah, it's yeah, gosh, it's so it's a remaster of a 3DS game, right? Basically, what they did was they upscale all the textures, kept all the old models. All the models look the same, just the textures are better quality, and the backgrounds of the like maps, right? Like the towns and things like that, and dungeons, used to be flat 2D like watercolor-esque pre-rendered sort of backgrounds like the old 3D Final Fantasies. But for this remaster, they went ahead and made those 3D as well. So now the backgrounds are also 3D. They have that watercolor style to them, but they're 3D now. Some people like it, some people don't. I like it. I think it looks really nice, personally. I think that the changes to the backgrounds look nice, and the work they did on, the textures and things like that look nice. But, I mean, the actual, with everything in the game, and this being, an up-res 3DS game, essentially, this game realistically could have worked on the Switch. And it could have worked on any other, current-gen platform. But so, a bit of history with Bravely. Bravely Default was a pretty early 3DS title, and it was one of Square Enix's first titles on the 3DS, and it utilized a lot of those 3DS gimmicks that were kind of put on the wayside, after the 3DS's pretty terrible launch, right? They started focusing more on just traditional games than focusing on these gimmicky sort of games, with they stopped thinking about the augmented reality and 3D and features like that. Bravely fully embraced those things. So it had the augmented reality opening where you'd scan the card and Agnes would be on your table or in a jar or wherever you want her, and
I hope not.
you never know, but the so you'd just have this little anime girl augmented reality into with the Pokemon Go and things like that, but this was pre-Pokemon Go and things like that, so this was pretty novel. I thought it was cool.
Yeah.
I loved the augmented reality when that 3DS came out, but
Yeah,
so that
Face Raiders.
yeah, Face Raiders, that was something else, but that's for sure. But the crux of it is that that cutscene's in there, but now it's just a 3D cutscene that you can kind of rotate around, and but some of the gimmick stuff that they did have in there, the Bravely Second, they actually removed. That was a super thing you could do to basically, if I remember right, you could kind of rewind time with it if you made a bad move or something like that. But they removed that feature because here's my take on it. They don't want any mentions to that sort of sequel game, Bravely Second, in the game whatsoever. Because
What's that?
That game's kind of the black sheep of the Bravely franchise. It did really poorly in Japan. Apparently it had really bad balancing, game balancing, and so the game was just a chore to play, and so Japanese players didn't like it at all. It got a lot of balances before it came to the West, so from a Western perspective, I thought it was pretty good. Not quite as good as the first, but I liked it for what it was. I never got through the full game of that one, but this is making me want to go back to it. And I'd like to see that come to Switch 2, but I don't think that's going to happen.
Yeah.
And so, but yeah, they took out that feature, which that feature was funny because it was another 3DS sort of gimmicky feature. you kept the game in sleep mode, and you would get seconds in your Bravely Second sort of pool, but you could also just buy seconds with microtransactions. That was just the thing you could do. You could just pay to win. And I mean, you didn't need it, obviously, because they literally took it out of this game. So the game works just fine without that feature. But it was a way to, you could just win with your wallet. So, yeah, that was weird. But, yeah, so other than that, I mean, the game on 3DS used the Street Pass quite a bit to get, not only could you get, like, your friends to send you different moves that you can use in the game, and you can send your friends different moves, like, most of the time it's like a special move, but you can send any move you want in the game, really. And there's even moves that are, like, designed to be sent to friends and things like that, so, or to just, like, Street Pass people. But you could also Street Pass to get, they had this little, like, almost like Clash of Clans-y, like, base building mechanic, to where you, like, spent hours, you, like, assigned builders, and, like, you, like, real time would pass, and you'd build up your little town, and they have that in the game, but now you get them just through walking around the different like towns in the game. There's like little, like, essentially like phantoms, and you walk through them and you'll gain another villager, and I guess that villager is tied to another player of the game, like in the original one, but instead of going through like Street Pass, it's just going through the internet and pooling.
So it is a Strand type game. That's what I'm.
It is a Strand type game. The second Strand type game.
The second. It's the second of almost 3 Strand type games.
But so yeah, that, I mean, it's nice that feature is there, and like you can play that feature now, because that was essentially dead content on the original game, because nobody was running on with their 3DS anymore.
Right.
But now you can just do that through the internet, and it works better if you have friends playing it, because you can just constantly send each other like special moves. But if you don't have friends like me, then you can use like the buddy bot and the amigo bot and the friend bot, and they'll be your guy. They have AI friends for you to send you moves, and let me tell you, the moves that they send you, they're not helpful at all. They're actually really bad. They're not even good moves. They just send you random moves. They don't even send you like special moves to help you, like, to keep up a special chain or something like that. They just send you random moves. So you don't use the amigo bot if you can help it. I think I found like one good move. One of them had like a Godspeed strike that I used at the right time, and they like finished off a battle. I'm like, cool, I got value out of that feature. Great, thank you, Square Enix. But yeah, no, I haven't played this game in years, and it's been a blast playing through this game again. I love the characters, love the music by Rezo, love the story. It's just classic Final Fantasy good stuff. But with like there's like a big like twist around the game that I don't want to get into, because it's like the huge crux and spoiler of the game. But it's got some mind-blowing stuff for, just a random 3DS JRPG. So it's got a pretty cool way it wraps everything up. But
don't spoil it, because I'm about to play it. So
I won't. So, but I love it, and I love the tradition of keeping up with the gimmicky things, because it also has the reason why it's a Switch 2 exclusive, the mouse minigames.
Yes, you showed me a little bit of this last night.
Yes. So I look at myself and station myself as the master of mouse minigames currently. I don't think anyone in the world is as good at mouse minigames as I am. If you can find someone who's better at mouse minigames than me, please introduce me to them. I want to learn their ways, because...
I was seeing some of the tech you were doing in that minigame thing. I was like, this is involved, I think I said? I think I said it was involved.
Yes, it is involved. Yeah. It is... I'm like, yeah, okay, I'm just going to use my mouse. It's like playing like a point-and-click game. You know, this is going to be fine. And then the game's like, no. You need both your Joy-Cons. You're using 2 mice. I'm like, okay, this changes things a little bit. So yes, you have to use both mice, both Joy-Con 2 mice, and play. There's 2 different mouse minigames. Now, these are completely optional content, of course. You don't have to engage with it if you don't want to. There's not really anything good you get from these things, like, nothing that's gonna, like, break your game or anything. The only thing I've ever used it for is getting costumes for my characters, because there's, like, costumes exclusive to it. So, yeah, they're fun. The mouse minigames are fun. They've got a rhythm one. I love rhythm games. I'm the Project Diva guy. I'm the Patapon guy. I love rhythm games. So the rhythm game in that, super fun. I didn't think I was gonna like it, and I'm like, wait a second. It's just like running around with 2 batons is actually kind of fun. And I was getting pretty groovy with it. I feel like I'm pretty good at that one. I was getting B and A ranks on expert mode, so like, you know, not too crazy, but I still would consider that probably the upper skill level of that sort of very niche mouse mini gaming. So
yeah.
And then I was getting S ranks in the Ring of Bells airship adventure or whatever, where you're driving this airship, and while you're driving this airship, you've got like your wheel, and then you've got your up and down, and then you've also got different tasks going on in the background that you have to attend to, because the character will be like, hey, I know you're driving this thing, but I want to hear the whistle. Can you do the whistle for me? Like, sure, buddy. Yeah, we're going to go off course, but sure, I'm going to go ahead and do this whistle for you. Oh, no, there's flies in the cabin. Oh, sure, let me stop driving this thing and take care of these flies for you. It's great. Yeah. I love it. It's so nonsensical.
There's hella smoke.
Yeah.
Turn off all the smoke.
Yeah, turn off the smoke. Get the wrench and turn off the smoke. Okay, sure. Yeah, why do you... have the guy driving the thing do all these tasks. Sure. You want to die? Sure. Let's go for this. Yeah. Shit. And, I mean, it's pretty easy to do once you get the hang of it. The only time that, you know, things get hectic is if, you know, there's like a ton of things on the screen and you're in expert mode and like the wind's pushing you away from where you need to be, and you're like, okay, I need to do this, I need to do this, but then I also need to do this task, but I only have 2 hands. So
right. Yeah.
But
body mod, you need 3 arms.
That's right.
Arms.
But yeah, no, it's fun. The mouse minigames, I think, are a nice include, and they're, you know, I don't think the game would be exclusive to Switch 2 if they hadn't done that, but I think it's a fun showcase of what the Switch 2, the Joy-Con 2s can do. I think they're fun little include. I wish there were more. It was more content. There's only 3 levels in the airship one, and there's like 5 songs in the rhythm game, so it's not a whole lot, you know, but what content is there is pretty fun to run around with and engage with.
Gotcha.
But yeah,
so for people unfamiliar, I guess, like, I didn't mean to cut you off. I guess the name is you know, instructive. Bravely Default. So for people that are unaware, explain a little bit what braving and default is.
Ooh, yeah. This is probably one of my favorite mechanics in all of JRPGs. So this is the first game that uses this sort of mechanic, and basically you brave if you want to take extra actions in a turn, and you default if you want to guard against attacks, or you want to build up Brave Points, or BP. The BP system is an incredible system that simply just lets you store extra turns. It's a currency or I guess another meter for you to manage, and it's really fun to manage the Brave Points. This game is probably the most, I would say, easy to crack open and break with the Brave Points, just because this is the first one to ever do it, and they didn't really know quite how to balance that. I feel like Octopath balances it a lot better, so if you're looking for a more like grounded and balanced experience, check out Octopath. But as for a game that if you want a game that you can just break open and just have it be like the breeziest thing ever, Bravely's got you covered. Because Bravely is, once you figure out the systems and you get the right jobs and skills together, you can just break open those systems. You can do, full Braves every single turn, and you can Brave up to 4 times, so you can take 4 actions every turn, and you're just dancing all over your enemy, literally, because like one of the strongest jobs is the performer job. So
yeah, and you're literally, like your inputs are very quick, because a quality of life thing they added in this game is the ability to either speed up or fast forward through battle animations too.
Yes, so I believe they had ×2 speed before, but now they've introduced ×4 speed. And so that's very convenient for... I have it on constantly. I'm the type where I like things to go as fast as possible, so there's not many moments where I'll turn the fast forward down. But the ×4 battles, I mean, you got to pay close attention to what's going on in a battle, especially in a critical battle, if you're using that ×4, because things happen very fast. And so you got to be like, okay, what's going on? What all has happened to my characters? But it's a nice quality of life. The game has always been known for its quality of life. It's always been like sort of that first attempt at a true, I guess, modern and convenient JRPG experience. That's kind of how the game's always been. So it's always had like those features, those quality of life features that are like, hey, you want to turn off experience? You can do that. Want to turn off gold gain? You can do that. Job experience gain? You can do that. You want to turn off enemy encounters? You can do that right from the get-go. You want to crank up enemy encounters? You can do that. So that was the base game. Bravely Default 2, you can only change the encounters to from 50% to 100% to 150% to 200%.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. They don't let you turn it off completely unless if you use a specific item. But that specific item, from what I understand, you can only get it through engaging with the mouse minigames. So that is one of the things where if you really wanted to turn off those encounters, you're going to have to use the mouse minigames. At least enough to get that accessory. But I played through the game without that accessory. When I don't want encounters, I just switch it to 50 and hope for the best. I feel like that's probably the best way to be anyways. I don't think turning off the encounters is necessarily needed. Like, at a certain point, they can get a little bit annoying, but there's so many tools to just make those counters go away instantly that it's not really a big deal. Like, at the point of the game I'm at, I have a skill called Obliterate that literally just destroys all enemies as soon as a battle happens, so...
Oh, yeah, I've seen this. This is crazy, yeah.
Yeah, so... the game is, like I said, very easy to crack open, so it's not a very... It has some cool super bosses that can be difficult if you don't know how to fight them, but it's very much a puzzle game first, in that once you know how to beat a boss, they can be pretty trivial. Like, if you know the right pieces, you can pretty much break any boss, so... And the job system just lets you is a sandbox for that sort of puzzly experimentation. The job system with the skill system.
Okay. Yeah. So, you think you have about what 20 or so hours left in this thing?
Yeah, I think 20 to 25 hours I think left in this game, and then I'll be through the main story of it. I'm not really trying to 100% this thing. I just want to get through all of the sort of content and see all of the content. I don't really care about completing all of the like logs and things like that, the bestiary or whatever.
All
the extra stuff, I don't really care about that. I just want to enjoy this game's story and see all of its story. That's really what I'm playing this game for. The mechanics of the game are fun. I love the Brave system. Like I said, it's probably my favorite JRPG system, but and the job system as well is super fun in this game. It's really fun to mix and match with there's 20 or so different jobs, so it's a lot of jobs to mix and match. Yep. So, there's a lot of content. Yeah, I mean, it was a 3DS game that sort of flew under the radar back when it launched on 3DS, and it's kind of a shame because it's it's a really good one, and Octopath wouldn't exist without it, because Octopath just kind of ripped out the Brave system, and I don't remember what exactly they call the system in that game, but I do know they still have that sort of BP system that you store up.
They definitely do.
Yep.
Yeah.
So,
and in hindsight, well, not in hindsight, in later years, Bravely Default 1 specifically has been remembered fondly.
Yeah.
Especially in comparison to second and Bravely Default 2 for the Switch.
Yeah.
People prefer this first one. That's why it kind of got this HD kind of treatment, right?
Yep. And that second one, or Bravely Default 2, I should say. The third one, technically, it's kind of weird. But Bravely Default 2 isn't a bad game. And Bravely Second isn't a bad game either. I just prefer this first one. This is the one I would recommend to people if they're wanting to check these games out for the first time. I might even... I think I would still recommend an Octopath or an Octopath 2 over Bravely Default in terms of priorities for getting into this sort of system, just because I feel like those games are more of an evolution of Bravely Default.
Right.
Just in terms of graphics and in terms of mechanics and everything, I think those games outdo Bravely in some ways, but the story of Bravely Default is quite incredible, because it just starts out as this innocent, nonchalant, Babby's first JRPG thing, and then turns into this incredible, crazy, overarching story. So it's a lot of fun to be going through that again, knowing the kind of twists that happen in the game. Is a bit sad, but I'm just enjoying experiencing it, because I don't remember the sequencing of things and things like that. So.
Yeah. That's, you think about how 20 or so hours after that, you'll probably be done with it.
Yep.
And I'll be playing it soon after a couple other stuff for sure. So
yeah, it's a great great title for the Switch 2 launch, though. I think the Switch 2 launch really needed a good JRPG like this. I feel like that's kind of the trend for these Nintendo handhelds ever since the 3DS, because 3DS had Bravely, and then Switch had Octopath, and now Switch 2 has Bravely again. So.
Yeah, the Switch one had Various Day Life.
Switch 2 also had that I Am Setsuna, which I never got around to playing. I don't remember
Triangle
hearing
Strategy as well.
Good of. Well, yeah, that was later. That wasn't really at launch, but
no,
it was an exclusive for a while. But I never got around to Triangle Strategy either. I wanted to get around to that I Am Setsuna. I heard mixed things about that one, so. But.
Yeah, for sure. That sounds really interesting. I'm excited to really dive into it. I love crunchy RPGs. Honestly, I've been playing a lot of those lately. So
Yes.
it's kind of nice to slip back into comfortable shoes.
Yep. It has as much grinding as you want and as little grinding as you want, and it's just got mechanics for days, so you can play around with those mechanics and crack open the game. And once you figure out how to crack it open, bosses are just big enemies. They're just mobs with really big health bars at a certain point. That's kind of the point where I'm at this point. They're mobs with really big health bars, so
That's how I risk of talking too much about Clear Obscure. That's what that reminds me of. Once you really engage with its systems, you can crack open the encounter battles, and it's just like trivial. If you are skilled enough, it becomes trivial. So
Yep.
I love crunchy RPGs like that. So
Yep.
well, good. Yeah, I am. That is coming up for me too, for sure. So before I talk about, well, you know what? Let me just touch on this. I didn't play a lot of this. I played literally 30 minutes of this game before we kind of chat about your Deltarune stuff, and then us both playing Nightreign. I touched a little bit of Deliver at All Costs, which is a game I mentioned a couple podcasts ago. It is a Konami published game. I need to see who developed this thing. I think it is from a first time studio. But Deliver at All Costs is kind of an isometric, let's call it an isometric physics game. Very RC Pro-Am for like old consoles. Let me
Far Out Games Studio is the developer.
Far Out Game. Yes, that sounds right. I need to check on these things more often. But anyway, Konami, they're publishing video games again, which is kind of crazy. They're doing all this Silent Hill stuff. They're doing the Metal Gear stuff again. They're publishing really interesting things.
Suikoden, kind of.
Suikoden,
sort of
Suikoden.
On mobile, I guess, but.
Well, they put out Suikoden 1 and 2.
I guess so. Yeah,
that's cool.
That is cool. They have Switch 2 versions of those games. I didn't realize that.
They do. I don't know if they do anything, but maybe they just look really sharp. Who knows?
Yeah, probably not.
But anyway, Konami has been out of the game space for a very long time. They like to focus on their health clubs after Mr. Kojima left them, or was fired. It's not clear what happened there. But anyway, Delivered at All Costs is like a delivery simulator with like really fun physics. The hook of the game is that you can drive pretty much any car you go into. You're delivering packages for your company. So you're taking packages from one end to the other, and you're literally Deliver at All Costs is really the name, where you are wrecking everything to get a task done, and that's where the fun of this game lies. Like pretty much every building is destructible in this game. Every piece of I guess fencing or gates or facades for buildings, like everything you can run into is destructible. It's really cool. I really love the way it looks when it comes to the isometric angle. When they do like cutscenes and stuff, it gets really up close and it looks a little less good there. It's kind of a bold move to kind of really focus on some pretty low texture and low tech character models, I guess. It feels like it's meant to be played isometrically. But when they get into the story stuff, they get really close in on these scenes, and it's a little weird. But like I said, you play as a kind of a package delivery man, another Strand type game like Death Stranding.
Yeah.
But you're delivering packages for this company called We Deliver, and you are basically trying to get to point A to point B as fast as you can without getting pulled over by the cops. Very simple. And yeah, it's a really fun game from what I played. I only put about 30 minutes to an hour into it the other night. I think I'll play more of it. It's just it feels like one of those video games we always talk about. Like you're doing it's a very dewy game, you're just doing a lot of fun stuff in it, wrecking stuff and jumping out of cars and doing some light platforming, puzzle solving sort of things. I like the setting. It's very like 60s Americana feel. There may or may not be aliens in this game. I don't know. It feels very Mars Attacks that way, or Destroy All Humans. It's very retro 1960s Beach Boy, Middle America themed, and I think it's really good. I will be picking away at that here and there. I don't know how long it is, really. I really don't. I don't think it's the longest thing in the world, but I've enjoyed touching that for sure. And yeah, a couple other things I wanted to touch on because I only have a couple more games, one of which we'll talk about together, which is Nightreign. I want to talk a little bit about the Zelda upreses, just a little bit. It is crazy playing those games in such high fidelity and performance, don't you think?
I don't know. I haven't played them yet. I haven't actually.
Oh, have you not?
No, I haven't actually. I think I downloaded the patches, right? Because I have the expansion pass, so I do have them downloaded, but I haven't actually booted those games yet. I've been just so hyper focused on Bravely. Literally, the only other thing I've played on Switch besides Bravely, played a little bit of like NSO stuff, which wasn't even the GameCube stuff. I just played stupid Densetsu no Starfy, and then you were watching me play, and then I played Dark Souls with you. So those are the only three games that I've played on my Switch too.
Okay. Well, I guess I can speak to it. I will tell you, those games run so well.
I believe you.
It's kind of uncanny. It is really wild. You're like, okay, so I imagine when they were building the game, it ran like this or similar to this, and then they backported it to a Switch, and it was pretty chunky. You know.
Well, there's been a player base who've been playing it probably at that sort of resolution and frame rate for a while. The unmentioned ones, the ones Nintendo doesn't want you to know about. But I'm glad that we have official channels now to play those games in that kind of quality. That's very nice to have.
Yes. When it comes to talking about emulation, it's Yahoo anime rules. We don't tell you where to go for these things.
Yes.
There are ways to get these things, but just with like finding anime on Yahoo, there are free and easy ways to get it. Same for emulation. Let's just keep it there.
That's how it works.
That is how it works. It is literally, it's literally what you're saying. It's that meme of the guy that's disappearing. He's like, don't say nothing, dog. That's basically what
we're not going to
about.
judge you. We don't judge here at the Strict Stick.
I would never judge. I'd never do. Yeah.
No, not the voice again. No, I thought we were.
I'm done. I'm sorry. Yeah, it's kind of shocking how good those games run. So basically, like, it was confusing to get the patches. It was like when you have the highest tier, like
expansion
whatever,
pass,
the everything tier, the expansion pass with all the free DLC or whatever they add to it, with the Splatoon stuff and then the Zelda stuff. This was packed into it. These patches, which you would have to upgrade for $10 if you had to switch versions of those games. Excuse me. You'd have to upgrade to the expensive, Switch 2 versions for $10. It's very like PlayStation doing Horizon upgrades from PS4 to PS5. It's very
the new console tax, I guess. They don't want to sell. They can't sell you the full game again, like ethically. So they're like, we're gonna at least tax you on this thing so that you give us something, and that's what they're gonna be doing for games going forward. I'd imagine. They already have games like that, I think.
Yeah, for sure. Someone should tell Naughty Dog they could do that instead of making new games.
Well,
Well, anyway, we'll talk about The Last of Us 2 again at some point during these podcasts.
I gotta get back to that.
For sure. Yeah, we will one day. I'm not terribly worried about it at the moment, but when you redeem it off of the screen, like you go to each respective game and they're like, you could buy this upgrade, and you're like, okay, don't I own this upgrade?
Yeah.
And at the top of the screen in a gray box, not even a red one, it's like, download it.
Download. Wait.
So you could be suckered into paying for this if you're not paying attention.
Yes.
That's
they will let
saying,
you they will let you buy the thing that you technically already have access to. You don't own it per se, but you have access to it already.
Yeah, what they're
doing.
It is a pain to figure out how to do that. Once I figured it out, it was so basically you get the patch, you download that, and then it becomes the Switch 2 executable. But since there is no source game, you have to download your Switch copy, and then that morphs into the Switch 2 executable. It's super backwards. I don't know why they did it this way and not just have you download your Switch and then patch it. I have no idea.
Yeah.
Whatever. The one I've extensively played, I've touched the Tears of the Kingdom one. It runs and looks just as nice as Breath of the Wild because they're, the same game in terms of technology. So, Tears of the Kingdom is larger in scope, more things to do, more environments, more everything. But like Breath of the Wild and Tears of the Kingdom, they run comparably. They run at a rock solid 60, rock solid. 1440p, I'm pretty sure, is what it's running at.
I kind of want to
4K.
play Breath of the Wild again. I think I want to play Breath of the Wild again on this Switch 2 edition because I haven't played that game in forever, and that game was cool. I don't think I ever actually got the Master Cycle. I never did that DLC to get the Master Cycle.
Yeah, that DLC was really good. I like that thing. The Master Cycle, you could just put a bunch of trash in it, and it would be your fuel. Like you could put a bunch
Is that right?
Of
okay.
Literal, yeah, you could put like sticks and stones in that thing and be like, yeah, that's good. Fill up your tank. Let's go.
Sure.
The Master Cycle is really cool. It's really cool. It's better than having a horse in that game. But yeah, like just like you, I wanted to play it for Switch 2, so I started a new Link profile, whatever you want to say.
Yep.
And before the Switch, in anticipation of the Switch 2, because I knew they were going to have these new additions, right? And I'm like, okay, great, yeah, I'll just bounce my save over. It'll be no problem. And it was seamless. It was literally seamless. It's because you basically have to switch one game, and you are putting a patch for 2 on it, and that becomes the executable. So very easy to do, not a problem. I can say for the Switch saves, it's been kind of a pain. In general, like moving stuff over has been a pain for me because I was not privy to the knowledge that you needed to make a backup in the cloud before transferring because I sold my Switch before getting a Switch 2. But we'll talk about that when I'm talking about Pokemon here in a second. But functionally, those upgrades are really good. It is uncanny how fresh it feels and how well it runs. They are the definitive way to play those games now. It's like playing it with in a new, fresh way. You're just like, wow, I can't believe this exists. I will be playing Breath of the Wild again this year, like finishing it. I wanted to get 100% of everything, and it's an intrusive way to do this now. But they have released this Zelda Notes app, right? Which you can get it in your Nintendo Switch app, is what it looks like. And I think this is going to be something, unless it doesn't catch on, which I imagine it probably will because it's relatively handy. They're going to add these kind of like attachment functions or attachment apps to this Switch app to have further implementation in their games. Like, so for instance, in Zelda Breath of the Wild and Tears of the Kingdom, they have this sort of like collectathon GPS. Like, that's the best way I could put it. It's called the Zelda Notes app. So it hooks up directly to your game. It is literally like freaking Google Maps for Zelda, and you can find all the Koroks this way. You can find all the collectibles, anything you want, pretty much. And you are literally guided by like go west by this freaking Siri voice, which is bonkers. It's kind. People complain about immersion. It's so immersion breaking. It's insane. I personally don't care about it too much.
Yeah.
Because it's made finding Koroks easier than ever. We'll put it that way.
Look, listen. I don't have a lot of free time anymore. I play a lot of games with a guide now. Like, I'm playing Bravely with a guide right now because I've already played that game when I was a kid, guide free. Beat that game as a kid, guide free. Great.
Yeah.
But I want to do it in a relatively quick fashion, so I'm just going to go through games now with a guide and just get me through the game. I want to see the game. I don't really care about solving the game too much unless if it's like something action-y, right? Action games I like to solve, and I do solve. That's how I am. Something like a RPG or like a collectathon, I don't need to solve that. Just get me to the thing. I'd expect they do this going forward, where they're like, for people like me, and it sounds like you as well, who are just like, get me through this game. They have this app, like Donkey Kong Bonanza comes out, they have this app that's like the Bonanza, DK Bonanza Extravaganza app, whatever.
That's actually good. I like that.
and they're like, here's how you get the what do you collect in that game? Golden bananas. Here's how you get the golden banana for this area. I don't know what you collect in that game. Nobody knows what you collect in that game, I don't think. But it probably has something to do with bananas, if I had to guess.
Probably.
If you're not collecting bananas in that game, Nintendo, what are you doing? Miyamoto, fire everyone on that team if you're not collecting bananas.
This is Miyamoto. The entire Donkey Kong Bonanza team has been disbanded, and I am now working on the game.
Yeah, exactly. Yep. That's the message we're gonna get if he finds out that they're not collecting bananas in that game. But
basically,
yep. But yeah, that sounds like the right way to play through that game. Is with that app. Well, if I go back to that game and I need to find something, I'm gonna be using that app rather than trying to use some online weird map thing like we used to use. So
yeah, it is probably the easiest way to 100% that game without a guide.
Yeah.
Which like you, I am doing that thing where I'm looking up guides to make my playthrough more let's say easier to get through and not miss. Like I want to golden path something, but I want to see as much as I can.
Yes. Yep.
Having a guide is the way to go for a lot of games for me these days. I also don't want to waste my time. I don't have time to really explore the way I used to.
Yeah.
Specifically for this show because we hop around for so many
things. Yep.
But I find some sort of zen in having some sort of guide there to know what to expect a little bit. There are some instances where I will not use a guide. Like for like Hitman. I never used a guide for those games.
Sure.
Like I just the
that's the crux of the game, though. That is the fun part. Yep.
Right.
Finding a Korok seed or finding a shrine is not the fun part in the Zelda. Maybe solving the shrine is, but finding it is not.
It's like getting there is half the battle, right?
Yeah.
And once you do that, like show me the fun stuff, and I'll complete the puzzles that you put in front of me.
Yes.
That's kind of how I feel. Like I used some guides for blueprints when I beat that, but that was only because I was stuck in some spots. I explored freely. Outer Wilds, no guide at all. Completed that 100%. Did everything.
Yes.
Platinumed that game. But when I platinumed it, I followed a guide because there are specific things you had to do, right?
Yeah.
There are some exceptions. You will use some things. More often than not, I am following guides. So
in the case of
it's very useful for that.
Dark Souls 1, you don't really need a guide because you have a human guide sitting next to you. So I'm a tour guide for Lord Ren. So
yeah, you're Sherpaing me through that game.
Yeah,
just to kind of end the kind of upgrade talk real quick. The Zelda games are really good. There's a bunch of other smaller games that seem they got some bumps too. Like I checked out Echoes of Wisdom. That game is pretty much running flawlessly. Same for Link's Awakening. I checked that out today. Also running the same. It's the same engine as Echoes, it seems, from Grezzo. So those run well. The biggest market difference for a first to second party game on Switch is Pokemon Violet and Scarlet. It's night and day how well that game runs. It is kind of insulting how long it took for them to make that game run as well as it did. It took them another console to optimize that thing, which I think that's fairly disgusting to me. Like if you felt like you needed to compromise on a thing, maybe just wait or work on it. You know what I mean? Like, I brought this up to you. Like when that game came out, there was rumors of a Switch Pro kind of coming around that time, 2 or 3 years ago when Violet and Scarlet came out. And when it hit, like it was so bad. Like Arceus was like Arceus, whatever you want to say. I don't even know how to say that game.
I don't know. It's whatever.
It was rough too. That game was rough too. It ran not amazing. The textures not great, but like functionally it was still a good game.
It was a very good game. Yep.
The performance did not get in the way of it necessarily a lot of the time. No. Violet and Scarlet straight up had problems the entire time. And you and I played a lot of that game.
Yes.
And it was pretty much busted a lot of the time.
Yep, it was.
Lots of crashes.
Yep.
So basically, a lot of people think it had to do with like a memory leak issue. But a lot of it is because they rushed that game. The Pokemon Company was impressing upon Game Freak to finish this during a timetable, I'm sure. And they basically went Arceus, Pokemon Scarlet and Violet in the same year. So like who knows if those are different teams? I'm sure there are some overlap between the two, so maybe that influenced its gameplay. I don't really know, but this feels like it should have been the way to play that game. Is on a Switch 2, Switch Pro, whatever you want to say. It should have probably come back out back then, and then they rescinded that, and decided to make a Switch 2. From the sounds of it, it was 2 to 3 years ago they were looking to put it out, and they didn't. So this would have fallen around that time. This is pure speculation. I don't know. But yeah, this is the way to play that game. If you missed it, now's the time to jump back in. It is structurally one of the best Pokemon games I've ever played. Both Arceus and Pokemon Scarvy are like the best Pokemon games you can play straight up. It's just a shame they were so technologically compromised for the amount of time they were. But yeah, lots of games got boosts that you didn't think would. Some are just not boosts, but they just run better because of better hardware inherently. But some actually got patches and boosts. And there's some like old games, like for instance Kirby and the Forgotten World, that's getting like a Switch 2 edition, which is a boost and passions and stuff, but also DLC. So like the upgrade tiers, instead of 10 for just the technological patches and upgrades, it's 20 because it includes DLC, for instance, for the Switch 2 edition. So that's an example, right? All in all, the Switch 2 is just making all your stuff better, and it feels that way, you know.
Yeah.
And I really like it for that.
Yep.
Yeah, I like that a lot. So yeah, before we kind of jump into the final game I have, let's talk about the first FromSoft game we have both been playing a fair amount of. Me less than you, because I just got this the last couple days. I put about 3 hours into Nightreign. You've on the hand, have you beaten Nightreign, all of it?
I have not. No, I am missing 2 bosses. I have not beat the what do they call it? The Dark Drift Knight and the Night Aspect are the only 2 I have not beaten. So
yeah, and this is Elden Ring Nightreign, I should say, not just Nightreign. Elden Ring Nightreign.
Elden Ring Nightreign.
For those unfamiliar, it is a battle royale game in the
it's not a battle royale. It's
like
styled
so
like one, but
that's my next thing.
Yep.
Battle royale. It has a lot of tenets of that. They play more like Destiny Strikes, if you know what that is.
Yep.
They are
it's
like
mission-based.
3-man teams,
Yep.
mission based, with battle royale structure.
Yep.
That's
you have a storm closing in, and you get random loot.
Yes.
Yep.
Random loot. It's hero class based as well.
Yep.
It's different that way, where you're not just building a kit. You are building a character.
And you're building for that character, so you're looking for loot that specifically will work well on that character. Any loot works for any character, but you want loot that's tailored to your character because it's going to work better with your character.
You're not going to use a sword for the Eagle Eye guy, or whatever his name is, Iron Eye. You're not going to use a sword. You're going to use a bow.
You can. They'll allow you to do that, and they won't like. There's no stat requirements for any of the weapons, so theoretically you can use that great sword that you picked up with your Iron Eye. But he's much more comfortable poking away at a distance with his bow, and then maybe going in with like some sort of dexterity weapon to do like actual damage, because the bow doesn't really do a whole lot of damage. So
yeah, right. It's good for keeping the pressure on.
It is good for keeping pressure. Yes.
Yeah. So like I guess I'll talk about a little bit of what I think of it, because I have a smaller sample size than you, and then I want you to kind of get deep with your time with it, because you played a lot of it. So I've put about 3 hours into this thing. I've almost exclusively played Wilder, because I'm just trying to learn something, learn the
Wilder's a lot of fun. I love Wilder, actually. He's one of my mains.
Yeah, he's fun. He looks cool. I like his winged helmet.
Yep.
But he's like a standard freaking FromSoft guy, like kind of with the buckler, a little small shield.
Yep.
But yeah, like I have some issues with this game. Yeah, I have some issues with this game, and most of it lies in its format. I famously was like not interested in this game at all. Like I was just like, not for me. It's an interesting experiment, whatever. I saw you guys played it. I'm like, okay, maybe I should give this thing a shot. It's a low enough price to kind of pass the threshold. $40 is not that high of an ask for a modern video game. I was like, okay. So got it the other day. and I was like, okay, let's see how this is with randos, because the main issue I have with this game is it's not crossplay.
Right.
I think it is.
That's a
huge
triumph
oversight.
for a modern multiplayer game not to have crossplay.
Yes, and it manifested in my gameplay too. It was hard to find matches. It really was.
Yeah.
It was like a lot of people are playing on PC.
Yeah.
Once you get into a match, you have a team usually of 3. You can play this solo. It seems not very tailored or balanced to that, even though they have initiated a patch for this recently. It feels misguided to do that, though. I would not recommend it. Having a murderer's row, a crew to kind of go in with, is the way to go. So, if you have randos, you can get things done, but it's not going to be that easy. And I beat a run. I killed the first boss, Tricephalus.
Yeah.
And it was... I didn't find it that hard personally.
Took me a couple
I got a lot of. Yeah, I got a lot of lucky breaks. I beat it my first try. That's just me. I got very lucky. I was able to get a perk that restored health upon guarding, which was huge.
Oh, so you're running around with a shield with your Wilder.
Sometimes.
Okay.
I'm usually doing two-hand. two-hand.
That's what I'm usually doing.
Right, and I basically had it where if I healed, like, these thunder strikes would emit from the sky and strike where I walked, basically, and that really helped. But I also got this perk that when I was in low health, like, holy ground started underneath me, and it would heal me as well. So, like, I had this really broken build of healing that was kind of huge, because it was easier for me to res people whenever I was at full health. And that's kind of how we won that match. But yeah, it was fairly exhilarating even with randos. It feels like it misses the camaraderie of having a regular group when you do that.
Yes.
But like I said, I've beaten one run of it. It seems like there's an end to this game. There are 8 bosses, from what I can tell. And then there's these memories that you can kind of fight, very Sekiro-like, where you kind of go to this level, like this chapter select page, and every time you beat one of these rounds, you are afforded a boss encounter that is unique. Like, for instance, you can fight the Fellowman or whatever from Elden Ring, and you can bring a team in that too if you want. So there's a lot of stuff to do after you finish the main 8 courses, I guess. Yeah, that's I like it. I think not having a group that you're dedicated to playing with is not awesome, and I think they need to change that, because it's very simple to just build something to allow for crossplay. Like, that would solve a lot of my issues with this game. I think structurally it's a good game. It's very different from Elden Ring in a lot of ways, and I think it's really fun to play ultimately. And I don't know. I don't love the way From games play. Like, that's not what I go to them for, I guess I would say. I go to them for world building, and I go to them for the bosses. I go to them for their...
And those are in the game. The world building is in the game, and the
game.
bosses are in the game.
Right, and that's kind of the hook of this game, is that that's kind of like a FromSoft All-Stars, where you're having a bunch of bosses from
It's a boss
section
rush.
of their,
Yeah.
catalog. Yeah, it's a boss rush. I guess format-wise, it's segmented into 3 days. The first 2 are like resource gathering and leveling your character, and then the third day is you beat the course you select, like its boss, like that boss's track. So, and once you finish all 8, I think you actually reach credits, because there is technically a story in this game, which is interesting.
I think once you beat the night
it's
aspect specifically, the last one, then you will get credits, I'm pretty sure. And you can do that after just fighting 4 of them. You beat 4 of those, and then you can go straight to the sort of final boss. So.
Okay. Yeah, it I think it's a good game. It could be great.
It could be great.
And I feel like this could. I feel like this is something they could add to for a long time. It's just a matter of what they add.
They will be adding to this game. I don't know for how long, though. I suspect this is more of a experiment, and more of a tied over to the next game, because their next big release is also going to be a multiplayer focused release, which will be Duskblood's exclusive to the Switch 2. So, at least as far as we know, it's going to be a Switch 2 exclusive.
I think that will mostly be a story game with multiplayer. I think that's probably what's going to happen. like I think it'll be more clear end to end what that game is, like in terms of its story. I think that's
I've heard it's
probably
very
what you're looking
Tarkov
for.
like, is what I've heard. So
Okay.
Miyazaki's
I
influence
hope
is
it's not an
Escape from
extraction shooter.
I-
Or an
I-
extraction.
I've
like-
heard that Escape from Tarkov was what Miyazaki is using as influence for this game in particular. He played a lot of Escape from Tarkov, I think, and he said that he wanted to try and do something like that in the sort of Souls shell. So
I have confidence in them. It is a. I won't be happy when they return back to the RPG stuff that they are known for. It is,
Sure.
it's nice that they're able to not. It's not an asset swap. This Elden Ring Nightreign, but they're using an economy that they've built over time.
Yep.
To make a, I'm sure, relatively cheap game.
Yeah.
Because of all the resources they've already used.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I think it's a good game. So, how many hours have you put into it for yourself and your crew?
Yeah, let me pull that up for
Oh,
you.
yeah, you're
But I'd looks like 37 hours. 37 hours in this
Okay.
game. So I've got a good amount
Yeah,
of
okay,
experience in this game.
Yeah. So, first off, what classes have you played? What are some things you don't like about the game? And I guess what's your favorite thing about it? Let's start there.
So classes, I've mostly just played Wilder and Recluse.
Recluse. So Recluse is is that the
Spellcaster.
mage character?
Yeah, pure spellcaster, yep. She's
Okay,
S
okay.
faith and
And-
S intelligence.
So list all the classes off. It is.
So, okay, let's go
Yeah.
Wilder,
Wilder,
and
yeah.
then we'll just go,
Iron Eye, right?
sure, we'll go Iron Eye, we'll go Raider,
Raider.
we'll go Recluse, Executor, and then,
Guardian.
Thank you, Guardian. I don't play Guardian, so I don't think that one. And then those are the 6 base classes, and there's
Yes,
2
yes.
sort of hidden classes. There is the Duchess and the Revenant.
Revenant. Okay, I have not seen the Revenant. I've seen the Duchess reveal. I saw that last night.
Yes.
So.
So you can currently in the game you can unlock the 2 unlockable characters are Duchess and Revenant.
Okay.
Yep.
Gotcha.
And they both have kind of cryptic unlocks, especially the Revenant, so you might need to use a guide to find that, but
Okay. Okay. That's very Remnant from the Ashes, where they hid a character class behind like a side quest. That's kind of
Yep.
interesting.
yep.
Yeah. So, what do you not like about this game? Let's start there.
I would say probably just the lack of basic multiplayer accommodations. We were talking about the crossplay, but there's not even any voice chat. There's no way to
Yeah.
communicate with teammates whatsoever besides just pinging things and gesturing. That's about all you can do. And it feels very Nintendo of them to not have voice chat in their multiplayer focused game.
Right.
So I'd say probably that would be the most frustrating piece of this game is playing with randoms is just not really what this game is for. Like this game I think is built better for playing with friends that you're on voice chat with and can actually communicate with.
Yeah. Yeah. I think I agree with you there. Like, it's very bare bones.
Yes.
The way that you can communicate in that game.
Yeah.
Yeah. What's been one of your most what keeps you coming back? Just the multiplayer aspect of it, playing with your friends. What do you like about this game?
Yeah, it's a fun, sort of casual Souls experience to just hop on with people who don't typically play these Souls games, and I have the background with the Souls games, and so I can kind of pick up and play. Learning the new systems for the game's a little bit weird for me, but getting used to those systems, I now feel like I can kind of just run through this and get to that final boss at least no problem. Not really beating it consistently, but at least getting to whatever final boss at the end consistently. and just getting to see the nods to old FromSoft games along the way, because they haven't really done a nostalgia bait sort of game besides like Dark Souls 3. So
I was gonna say, yeah.
Dark Souls 3, like, I don't know what they were thinking.
Dark Souls 1, 2,
it's a little disappointing in ways, but we'll talk about that whenever we talk about all the Souls games. But
spoiler: there's a lot of Dark Souls 1 and Dark Souls 3, like so much.
So much. They really should have. I don't know.
They literally like rip locations from Dark.
I love Dark Souls 3, but at the same time, like, I don't know if that game needed to happen. I really don't. But
they could have made Bloodborne 2.
Yeah, they could have made Bloodborne 2. That's right, and that would have been more original, I think, than Dark Souls 3. So, but it's fun just seeing, like, the things I've encountered so far are the Gaping Dragon, the Centipede Demon, Smelter Demon from Dark Souls 2. Gaping Dragon, and I saw you encounter that. I was very happy. So Gaping Dragon and Centipede Demon, Dark Souls 1. Dark Souls 2 has, as far as I know, Smelter Demon and Dukeseer Freya.
Okay.
And those are some very goofy, janky bosses that are very funny picks, because those are typically considered like some of the jankiest ones in Dark Souls 2. And then Dark Souls 3 picks I've seen are the Dancer of the Boreal Valley and Nameless King. I have fought both of those.
Nameless King.
Yep.
Oh, okay.
Yep.
Okay.
Nameless King
work in Elden Ring?
He is a 2-phase boss, just like in Dark Souls 3. He has the phase where he's on the bird. He's like the Storm King, and then he lands and he's the Nameless King once you beat the bird. So
interesting.
Yep.
Okay.
We almost beat him our first encounter with him. I've never encountered him again, but he must be a pretty rare encounter. But we were in there are different like terrains that can show up sometimes on the map. Basically, there's 3 terrain modifiers. There's a lava one, a snow one, and then a Scarlet Rot forest.
Right.
And we had
like the shifting earth or something.
Yeah,
like
something
that.
weird like that. And we had the rot curse, and we didn't know how to solve it at the time because it was like our first time experiencing it. And so, because there's like a pickup you can get in the forest to make you immune to Scarlet Rot. We didn't know that, so we were trying to power through it with the Scarlet Rot, and we just ran out of resources before we could take down the Nameless King. So we ran out of S's, or whatever they call it in that Crimson Tears. I don't know, but
it's Estus. It's basically Estus.
Yeah.
I just call him Estus Flash because I don't care.
Right, but yeah, it's it's got the fun little harkenings back, and then it's got the freaking Dark Souls skins that you unlock after you quote unquote beat the game by beating the final boss.
Right.
You can get skins for your favorite Dark Souls characters. They're all Dark Souls characters. Dark Souls 1, 2, and 3. The whole game only has Dark Souls references. Don't let anyone tell you otherwise. There's no Bloodborne references in the game. Sony would not allow that, and you know that. So.
I would have killed myself.
Yeah. No Bloodborne, no Demon Souls. I know you were excited about the Demon Souls.
Bring it back.
Yeah, bring back
I
Demon
pointed to my
Souls. That's right.
Yeah.
Bring back Demon Souls. Oh wait, no, you're talking about Bloodborne. Yeah, sure.
No, don't bring that. You can throw Demon Souls away. We don't want it.
We don't need it. But
the world state is terrible. I mean, you died so much. The world sucks now.
Yeah, you suck. You made the world worse by dying. You're so bad at the game, you made the world worse. Congrats, buddy. But
hey, guess what? Your health, it's going to be real small now. You know why? Because we hate you.
We hate you. You died once,
That's
your
Demon
health
Souls.
real small. Yeah, it's crazy.
Yep. And guess what? You know what the world state means? The game gets harder. Everybody is meaner to you.
That's right. But there's been some like clickbaity things that I've seen running around, like, oh, they have a Bloodborne skin in here. No, that's not Bloodborne. That's freaking Ringfinger Leohart or whatever from the Rosaria faction in Dark Souls 3, he looks like a Bloodborne character. He's not. He's a Dark Souls 3 character.
Duchess looks like a Bloodborne character, though, I will say.
Yes. But...
very Lady Maria of the Astral Clock.
Absolutely. Looks like one, but there are no Bloodborne references. No Bloodborne bosses.
Yep.
None of that. Just Dark Souls stuff, because that's the only franchise that they own, I think. Because I'm pretty sure that Sony owns the Demon Souls and Bloodborne rights, and then I think Activision owns those Sekiro rights. Is that right?
FromSoft owns the Sekiro rights.
Do they?
Activision owns the publishing rights.
Okay.
Yeah, it's kind of weird. They, they kind of extricate themselves from the corporate parent owning the name of the thing.
Yeah.
With Sekiro, after the Demon Souls and Bloodborne situations they found themselves in.
Yep.
Like, for instance, Bandai does not own Dark Souls. FromSoft does.
Yeah. Yep.
Technically, Katakawa does. They own the Dark Souls title. They don't even own the Elden Ring title. They are just the publishing partner of Bandai Namco.
It's kind of weird that FromSoft went to Activision to publish Sekiro. Like, I know they have a history of having Activision publish their pure action games, 'cause the Tenchu series were all published by Activision, I believe. But
that's why, because they approached Activision to make a Tenchu game. That's what happened.
Okay.
And FromSoft said, "Okay, we'd like to make a Tenchu game," and then Activision's like, "Yeah, sure."
Yeah.
But they made so many changes to it, they decided to rename it.
Okay.
But have it be a spiritual successor.
Spiritual successor to Tenchu, yeah. Well, they learned lessons learned from
the
the Souls games, right? And so that's basically like a mesh between Souls and Tenchu, kind of how Armored Core 6 really is a mesh between Souls and Armored Core, right? So
yeah, it really is. Yeah, you can't have one without the other when it comes to that one.
That's just how those games are now. That's how FromSoft games probably will be for the foreseeable future. That's kind of what they do now, is Souls games. It's kind of sad as somebody who's a huge fan of their backlog. Like, I love FromSoft's history. I'm the Kingsfield guy.
You're the Kingsfield guy.
But, so it's kind of sad that they're probably never going to go back to those sort of formats, right? But, that's just, Souls is here to stay. The Souls format works. They know it works, and people like it. I like it.
We're not getting Eternal Ring 2,
No, that's not happening. But we're not even getting, like, a Tenchu or a Armored Core or any game like that just doesn't have that Souls influence. Like, that's just how it's going to be going forward. They are focused on making those games as Souls-like as possible.
For sure. All in all, we both like Nightreign. I think it's a good game. It could be great if they made it crossplay. It would be a great game. For right now, it's good. It's a solid 7-8 for me if I were to give it a number. But we don't score things like that. I'm enjoying it. I've played about 5 to 6 matches. I got really frustrated last night because when you play with randos, you got a bunch of idiots running around.
Yep.
And I was at that point, I figured out what to do, so I've started to go through caves to get the smithing stones, go to the churches to get the flasks.
That's what you're supposed to do.
To go to the Everjails to defeat powerful enemies to get better gear. I've been doing that stuff, but mostly people are pinging the stuff I'm pinging and going, okay, we need to do this.
I will
this
say,
is what we need to do. But
thank you for pronouncing it as Everjail. I hear so many weird pronunciations of that. I'm like, guys, Everjail. It's
Everjail.
It's Everjail. Like, I know it's spelled weird, like Geol, but it's Everjail. Like
Gaol.
Is that right? Okay.
It is Gaol, and it is an old English word.
Yeah.
For jail.
Yes.
Obviously.
Jail. They're locked up in there. You're freeing them from jail, guys. Like.
Yep. Yeah. Basically. But I will be picking away at it, playing more of it. I wonder how easy it is to play by yourself. It's probably not very easy. It's probably pretty tough. If they made it digestible and easy to finish by yourself, I would happily do it. Excuse me. But when you go down once, it's over. So there is a single player mode in that game. There
and
is, yeah.
you from what I understand, you get one free revive, and you can also possibly buy the legendary consumable Wending Grace at the merchant at the end, like at the boss, for pretty cheap. I don't know if those stack or not.
Right.
Like, I don't know if the solution is you can buy that, or if you get that in addition to your free revive for playing single player. I'm not sure. But I've just seen single player gameplay. I've never bothered playing the game single player because I'm not invested in the game enough to play it single player. But
Yeah, right.
if I was like, if it got to the point where nobody I knew was playing this game anymore and I still hadn't beat the game, I would probably just go into a single player rather than try and do it with randoms. Personally, I think I would just try and do this single player to just beat that
If
final
it's
boss.
been balanced, if it's been balanced, it might be doable. But
yes, it has very much been balanced around single player. They did a post game patch to increase how many runes you get in single player, and to, like I said before, make it to where you can get free revives essentially for playing in single player. So
I might check it out that way.
Yeah, it has been balanced around that. So
okay, so the last thing I want to say about this multiplayer functionality is it's got a really interesting revive system where it's it's like a pie chart with 3 pips. Every time a character goes or person goes down, if they go down once, twice, or 3 times, it'll add 1, 2, 3 to this pie grid above your character. And the way you revive them is you hit them. That's kind of fun. It's very punishing though. It's kind of hard to do it right. And I was remarking that it sucked whenever I was having an issue with it because getting people up when there's 2 people down is a pain.
Yes.
But I think it is novel. It's very novel.
It's novel, and when it works, it feels really good. But when it doesn't work, it feels really bad. Like, sometimes the game will not lock on to the person you're wanting to revive.
That's the issue I was having. Yeah.
I don't know if it's a camera thing or what, but that's an issue they need to fix. They need to fix the lock on, like, actually, like, intelligently knowing, hey, I'm trying to switch to my ally who is downed. Please let me switch to my ally who is downed to lock on so I may start attacking them.
Right.
And also, you'll just be sometimes like on top of somebody and your weapon will miss, even if you are locked on.
Another issue I had, that very thing.
And if you don't have like correct line of sight with a ranged weapon is very easy to miss. Or even if you do have correct line of sight and you're just not at the proper range for your ranged weapon, it's easy to miss. And so things stack like that, and the revive system is jank. It is jank. It works. When it works, it feels good, but when it doesn't, it feels really bad. And certain characters are just way better at reviving than others.
Yes. Like Iron Eye is like the person to revive.
Yeah, because he can just go off into like a corner and just pick at the allies. And like with like the recluse, she's the entire character she's either the worst character in your party or the best character in your party. There's literally no in between, because depending on your pickups, you can either basically be unable to revive anyone at all, and as somebody who is typically the anchor of the team, typically I'm the last one alive and on a team just because of my experience with FromSoft games. Trying to revive 2 people with a character that cannot revive people very effectively is very frustrating. And so I would probably suggest, if you don't have good spells on your recluse, probably just use a physical weapon for reviving and then switch back to your spells afterwards. Don't try and use spells to revive unless if you have the good ones, like the Star Rain. I had the Star Rain once. One cast of that will do one of those pie charts of revival. And I've had several spells too before, like, that were just like that. Like, you just cast it once and you get a whole pie chart of revival, and it feels so good. Because it's like, yes, this is why I play this character, is for this high power ceiling. But man, that power floor feels really bad when you're to the boss and you have like just the dinky little like pebbles that you're pebbling at the boss, it just feels bad.
Yeah, totally.
So
yeah, it's a very intricate game. There's a lot to it.
yeah,
For sure. But yeah, that's Elden Ring Nightreign. I'm sure we'll be playing some more of it at some
oh
point.
yeah,
Switch 2's taken over. Before we go any further, have you played any Deltarune at all?
a tiny bit. I've played maybe like the first like half hour or hour when it released.
Okay. I bought this game today too, so I am looking to be playing it. So
Yeah. This game, from what I played, I really like how Chapter 3 looks and kind of how it plays. Yeah, it looks like I've got an hour in this game. So,
okay,
and
gotcha.
yeah, I think that from what I've heard, this is Toby Fox just keeps the bar keeps raising with like the quality of these games and just how the content feels, and it's not a whole lot of content still from what I understand, but the content that is there is very feature dense and very enjoyable for like replaying and things like that. So
Gotcha. So the chapters 1 and 2 released up basically like piecemeal within a couple years of each other, I think, because there was Deltarune Chapter 1 and Deltarune Chapter 2 for the longest time. I think the first of those got announced and released in 2018 or 19, so before the pandemic. And they're just now doing 3 and 4, and they're charging money for it to play 3 and 4 because 1 and 2 were free, basically free to play, it looks like there might be 7 chapters from what I can see. So he's probably working on 5, 6, and 7 probably all together in a bundle, but maybe not. Who knows? But is the best way to I don't know, play it as it comes out, or is it better to just wait? I wonder. I'm not sure what I would do, but
yeah, I'd probably just play it as it comes out. I mean, and then go back and do a full experience after.
It could be something I do, but I will be getting to that very very shortly as well. So, a lot of new games this week. A lot of new games because the last one I have is not very long. But sorry, you got something.
Oh, I was just gonna say real quick, back on the Bravely Default stuff. Something I forgot to mention, just for like anyone who's like interested in it. The games are very much based in like the traditional Final Fantasy story. You have your 4 heroes, and they're literally just warriors of light going off and protecting the 4 crystals. Like it's that story of tried and true.
One, baby. That's what that is. Yeah.
The warriors of light protecting the crystals. That is the shell of the story, I should say. Now, what they actually do with that is they, go on this wild, JRPG tangent where eventually, you're fighting God or whatever, like they always do, and so, but at its core, that's what it is. So if you like Final Fantasy 1 or, just the older Final Fantasies in general, I've got Final Fantasy 9 in the background for the video listeners, the title menu for that.
To mention,
That's, that's very... this game was making me think, man, I want to go and play Final Fantasy 9 now. So they're very similar games in theming, so... But that's what I had.
Yeah, that's good. That's a good ad. I like that. It's a hefty portion of new games for sure. The late ad I had here, and you watched me play a little bit this last night, is Pippistrello and the Cursed Yo-Yo. So this is an isometric platformer. Isn't the right way? It's like a mascot platformer, we'll call it that, but it's not a platformer. Kind of is, kind of not. It's kind of its own thing. But you play as this little bunny rabbit thing, who's trying to save their their aunt, who's the owner of this power company that has monopolized the tri-state area. After she gets like zapped into these like batteries by the competition, so like their company, the Pippistrello company, has muscled out any other prospective businesses that want to run a electricity racket in the new city. Um, and so the bosses of those companies are pissed, and they want the Pipistrello CEO out, and that's who your aunt is. And when they zap her, she turns into this little bat that attaches to your yo-yo, which is the main mechanic of the game. That's all I know so far. It's played a couple hours of this. I think it feels really good. It looks awesome. It's like this pixel art, Zelda-like. We'll call it a Zelda-like. It's very Zelda-like.
Yeah, I can see
You're
that.
doing a lot of like, yeah, right. It feels very, adjacent to like a Minish Cap or something
Yep.
for Zelda. Got that isometric, really nice, soft pixel look to it. I think this game was made in Brazil.
Top down,
There's
right?
a lot of like, it is top down. It is
Yeah.
top down. Kind of like this like tilt that like some of the Zelda games have.
Yep.
But yeah, I played a couple hours of this. I really like it. It's mostly a collectathon, isometric or top-down platformer. And your main mechanic is you have this yo-yo that can be used in multiple ways to solve puzzles, and it's like your main mechanic for the game. So basically, like you can use it to like chain hit enemies. You like shoot your yo-yo out and like ping pongs a bunch of enemies. You can shoot it at walls that have turns on them or corners, basically 45-degree angles that kind of bounce into other parts of the wall, like a pinball machine. And you can use that to shoot your yo-yo there and pinball on the walls and grab an item, for instance. There's like a what do they call it? An off shot throw or an off throw where you're literally throwing the base of your yo-yo into enemies and creatures. That's really nice. Yeah, it's a solid game. It feels and plays really good, really well. The story seems pretty good so far. I'm liking it a fair bit. Pipistrello and the Cursed Yo-Yo. It's pretty cheap. I think it's like a $20 game. But yeah, it's awesome. I love discovering new indies like this. I heard this in a couple showcases, and I was like, oh, Pippistrello. Okay, this is interesting. And then when I went to check it out, I'm like, yeah, this is good. This is a good game. I like it a lot. So yeah, I'll continue playing more of that. I really enjoyed it. It's kind of a tough game, like especially when you're younger, because you don't have that many hearts. You only have 3 hearts, and every hit takes away a heart. But yeah, I liked what I played of it so far. I'm playing so much stuff. Who knows if I get back to it anytime soon? But alas, that's the life of a couple of aspiring, podcasters, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, basically. So that's all the new games. Let's jump quickly into the odds and ends we've been playing, because the one of those is the game we've probably played the most together this week. I'll be pretty quick with the stuff I have. I only have a couple things. I put deliver at all costs here, but that's technically a new game, so that went into the new games portion. I touched Cyberpunk 2077 again because I downloaded it and I wanted to make sure it was running right. So I played literally 2 minutes of it and went like, okay, it's on my console. I'll get back to it at some point. It kind of brought to mind because the Switch has a Cyberpunk port on it, including the DLC, and it runs at 30 to 40 frames a second.
That's not bad.
High resolution.
Yeah.
Not bad for a game that used to be busted, right? I mean,
Yep.
It feels like the first real 1.0 version in the box copy game. So, yeah, kudos for CD Projekt for sticking with it, because it's probably a huge job to turn around and make and overhaul big parts of that game. But yeah, Cyberpunk 2077 will be probably my big RPG game I keep coming back to. But in the meantime, while I was waiting for my Switch 2, I played a lot of The Outer Worlds from Obsidian Entertainment. The folks that brought you Fallout New Vegas, they brought you Knights of the Old Republic 2, Avowed. They did Avowed as well, Grounded. They're a very versatile studio. They do a lot of things. It's no wonder that their Xbox is like, or Microsoft's baby, because they're just so prolific, and every game they put out is gold, right? And the Outer Worlds is no different. So what got me to play this game was waiting for a Switch 2 and going like, okay, I have a one console household for a week. What am I going to play? The Outer Worlds kind of presented itself. I'm like, okay, this is really good. I wish I could keep playing this thing, and I kind of miss playing it. I haven't played it in about a week or so because of my Switch. But yeah, the Outer Worlds is very. It's like a Fallout. Like it feels very Fallout. It feels like if Fallout 3 gets that virtuous port and runs better, looks better, but being very similar. You know, there's a lot of story in this game, obviously, because you're making a lot of choices. It's a very crunchy RPG where you're talking to a lot of folks. There's a lot of good perks that allow you to do different things. There are story branches, very Fallout centered, you know, which is ironic because of you know, it being so similar to stuff that Bethesda's already doing. I guess we'll put it that way. But yeah, I think the Outer Worlds is really, really good. It's lacking depth of some of the companions in these games, and that's kind of my main issue with it. Is that, you know, when you have one of these RPGs that have a bunch of companions and character quests, they need to be good and engaging if you're going to have them on your team, right? And it seems like, with the exception of 2 to 3 NPCs or companions, I guess, they didn't do a great job in this game with fleshing out characters. It sounds like in the DLC they get better with Murder on Eridanos and the other one. I forget what the other one is. And introducing new characters that are interesting to you in your party. But yeah, I think the Outer Worlds is one of these crunchy Bethesda-like RPGs where you are talking to folks, hacking computer terminals, freaking picking up detritus off of the warehouse floor, whatever you want to say. You're doing Bethesda-like things in those games, and they're smaller scope for sure. And I kind of like it for that. I really like Outer Worlds. It's really good. I will be finishing it for sure. I'm about halfway through it. I've played about 15 to 20 hours so far. A lot of it was hot and heavy. I couldn't put it down for the longest time until the Switch came out. But yeah, it's one of those games I will return to this year and play a lot of it. But yeah, the Outer Worlds. I heard the second one was coming out at $80 this year, so I was like, okay, I'll take a look at the first one. I never beat it, so that's kind of where I'm at for that. But yeah, that's the Outer Worlds. I guess let's talk about the thing we've been playing. You and I have both been burning the midnight oil, playing Dark Souls Remastered on the Switch. Would you say?
Yep. Oh yeah.
Yep. Yeah, we've been playing a lot of that game.
We're about halfway through that game.
Yeah, I think we are just over the halfway point. Once we beat Ornstein's Mount, we are right there. So,
yep.
A preamble to this, we are doing the FromSoft deep dive. Like, that's kind of what we're doing for all the Souls games, and this is the first one we're going to do. We fiddled around with the idea of doing like Demon Souls first or something like that, or Bloodborne or Elden Ring first, but like we wanted to start with the one that's beloved to both of us, and that's Dark Souls.
We both love Dark Souls 1. I don't know if it's necessarily either of ours favorite in the Souls series. I don't think it is, but we both really like the game. We both think that the game is special, and the game got us into the Souls series, got us into FromSoft, and the game just holds up really well today. As just
so beautifully.
I mean, Demon Souls may have came first, but Dark Souls created the Souls like genre. Like there wouldn't be a Souls like genre if it wasn't for the cult popularity of Dark Souls. That one had much more of a cult following than Demon Souls did.
And that's what you said, like, about this game. It is fair. It feels fair, this game.
Yep.
You know, there's some FromSoft games that do not feel this way. Elden Ring chiefly among them, where you can kind of just get killed by some crap. This game is very fair. Like, oh, I made a mistake. I'm getting punished for it. You know. Dark Souls 1 is just such a gem. It was maybe my favorite game ever until Bloodborne came out. I love Dark Souls 1. It was a very special, very solitary experience for me. Initially, I played on 360 by myself in my own room, listening to a rap, basically. Listen to Kendrick Lamar or whatever. So I have a lot of like nostalgic memories about um, playing that game on a CRT. But yeah, let's talk a little bit about our Dark Souls 2 run. So, like you mentioned, we're
Dark
about
Souls
halfway
1.
through. Or sorry, Dark Souls 1 also. My bad. I think I said Dark Souls 2 to say additionally.
Oh
Um, Dark Souls 1 also. Um,
yeah.
we have both been playing that a fair amount. We're about halfway through. Just beat Ornstein Smile the other night. We both did it in each other's worlds. Actually, I got Ornstein's armor, which I've never gotten. I was pretty stoked about that.
Yep.
I look very, very, very drippy. Um, yeah, so I've never asked you this. What's your favorite part of Dark Souls? Like of that entire
Ooh.
game? Like what is the when you think about that game and go like, okay, I can't wait till I get to this part. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I think for me, I always like stepping into the names. The Mist Lake or the that lake
Ash
underneath
Lake?
the Ash Lake. Thank you. I always love
That's a
stepping
cool
into
location.
Ash Lake. It's very special to me because I found it on accident during my first run of Dark Souls 1, and I just stumbled upon it. I'm like, oh, this goes further down, okay. And now let me tell you, doing that before the Lord Vessel is never a good idea. Don't ever go down there before the Lord Vessel. I did that, so I had to
Oh
climb
yeah.
all the way back up.
Oh, did you? I didn't know you could.
Mhm.
Oh my gosh. Oh, that sounds horrible.
You have to. There's no way to go back up and without climbing if you don't have the Lord Vessel. But
Yeah, the Lord Vessel basically lets you fast
warp.
travel after
Yep.
that.
You're allowed to warp
some
between
specific bonfires.
specific bonfires, but every bonfire can warp you away. So I believe.
Okay,
I
interesting.
believe every bonfire can warp you away pretty much, except for if they're in like a area that's locked off. Like, I don't think you can warp out of Undead Asylum, and I don't think you can warp out of Painted World. But
Mhm.
yeah, no, so I love doing that,
Yeah.
and then as for like fights, I think I really enjoy just the DLC bosses in general, like Calamite, Artorias, and Manus are like my three favorite, I think, from that game. But
Yeah.
if we were talking
We'll
about
be,
just
we'll
like
be
the
fighting
base
those
game,
together. Yeah.
yep. If we're talking about the base game content, the Seath fight is always really cool, and the Four Kings are really
Yeah.
cool. Mainly because most of the time, if you're fighting them with like a normal sort of playthrough build, you're only gonna see three of them, so it's kind of funny.
Yeah. Right.
Because you just do too much damage. But that's another thing with the game. It's fair, but also all the bosses, besides the DLC bosses, have really low HP. They like it's a
They really
very
do.
it's a very simple game to get through. That's why it feels so fair, is because they have such a low HP threshold compared to like an Elden Ring. Like you play an Elden Ring and you're like stabbing them with a toothpick. Like no matter what weapons you're using, you're kind of just stabbing them with a toothpick to death.
Chipping it away. Yeah.
Dark Souls, you feel like you're killing bosses, especially with some of the like the bigger weapons, like the strength weapons, in like I don't know, like 6 or 7 good hits. Like it's ridiculous just how much you can chunk their health.
Right.
So it's a special game to me, especially those DLC areas. I love hanging out in those DLC areas.
hmm
So
I've never finished the DLC. I got past Artorias and not Manus.
yeah, Manus is something else. He's
He's
basically
a menace. He's a menace.
he's fighting a Dark Souls 3 boss in Dark Souls 1 is basically how I would describe Manus. So you have your Dark Souls 1 moveset trying to fight a Dark Souls 3 boss. It's very interesting. You basically are not gonna yeah, you have to use positioning. He's a positioning boss. He's not a dodging boss. There's a lot of moves where he will just combo you to death.
Right.
Unless you're positioned away to where you can react and just kind of move out of the way.
Yeah. It's
Um,
been
you-
it's been a long time since I beat that game.
yeah.
So coming back to it, whatever that was, 10 years down the road almost. I think I played in 2015, so I think it was 10 years.
Yeah.
It's surreal. It's surreal. Like going like, oh, I remember this. I remember this. Like, I'll ask you questions sometimes, and you'll be like, oh, I know. Yeah, this is what you do. I'm like,
Well,
oh, I knew this, but
yeah, and I play this game about once a year, so at least.
right,
So
sure.
ever
So
since I
you're-
beat it
you're
in like
basically-
2015, I've played this game like once a year.
Yeah, yeah. Do you have a number on how much you've actually finished it?
No,
No, that many.
it's
That's
that
fine.
many. Yeah,
That's a
it's
lot.
absolutely that many. And it's on different consoles too. I've played it on pretty much any console it's available on at this point. So, yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, we've been both playing Dark Souls Remastered on our Switches, our new Switches, and we've been using Game Chat a lot.
We have.
which
It's
kind of-
been helpful. Yep.
Yeah, it has been. It's been helpful just to see, like, if I'm confused about an area, you go like, okay, show me your screen, and then you'll be like, oh no, you need to go back over here. So, like I said, very good video game shorthand. That's how this game feels
Yes.
like, right?
Yep.
Yeah. So, we're gonna continue to play it. I'm sure we'll play this weekend at some point. But yeah, it's the back half of Dark Souls 1 that we are playing. I wish 2 was on Switch too, or Switch as well. I think it'd be good for us to get that at some point and play it together. But who knows? Who knows? Yeah, well, I guess we'll update when we finish this thing, right? And then we'll figure out what format we're going to record in. I think we might do a crash course on this because we are going
Sounds
so deep
right. Yeah.
on the game and its intricacies.
Yep.
But yeah, that's Dark Souls 1 Remastered, or Dark Souls Remastered for the Switch. It runs really well. Looks relatively good, decent. Yeah, I'm excited to play more of that for sure. But yeah, that's all the odds and ends I see on this doc. Let's, unless you had something besides what I had.
I'm just checking.
Yeah.
I guess. Oh. Maybe is this a good place to bring up, like, I guess, gaming related hobby stuff? Because I was gonna bring up like the Final Fantasy Magic the Gathering.
I was thinking about
Stuff.
this. Yeah, this is probably a good odds and ends piece to do
Okay.
that in. Yeah, talk to
Yeah.
me about the new Commander decks. Let's do that.
Yeah, so, well, it's not just Commander decks. So, yeah, they released the Final Fantasy set for Magic the Gathering, and there are 4 Commander decks with cards that are, exclusive for that Commander format, whether they're reprints or just brand new cards for the Commander decks. And then they all have Final Fantasy artwork, and they all look great. And so
Yeah.
it's a 100 card deck, or for those unfamiliar with Magic, and you have one of those cards is your commander, and then you have 99 cards as your deck of cards. And each card is a unique card. There's no duplicates of cards except for your basic lands, which are your mana base, which lets you play cards.
Okay.
But then there's also the actual Final Fantasy set for Magic the Gathering, which is standard legal. That's like the baseline format. That's the 60 card format where you're allowed to have up to 4 of a card of like the same card. So, and it's like cards that are released in like the past, like, I don't remember, like 3 or so years are allowed in that format. So it kind of rotates, and so that doesn't get stale. And so yeah, all those Final Fantasy cards just got introduced to that format, and they're pretty powerful. A lot of them have very incredible effects that have never been seen before in the game. So there's a lot of almost power creep associated with a lot of those cards, but they have some really interesting ideas that they've added that weren't around before, because they've been trying to theme it so much around the Final Fantasy property that they found ways to use their mechanics to sort of harken back to those Final Fantasy games. That's kind of what their focus was. So,
Yeah.
they're really
That's
nice,
cool.
though.
Yeah.
I personally bought a case of the Commander decks, which had all 4 of them, but I'm currently kind of offloading the ones that I didn't want. I really just wanted the Final Fantasy VI deck with Terra as the commander, and it's got like the whole entire party from Final Fantasy VI as cards in there, so it's pretty cool. But the other decks are great as well, and I've got friends lined up to purchase those off me. But if you're interested, Power, we could just call the Final Fantasy VII one a birthday gift and call it a day.
Oh, you're sweet.
I know.
Well, I gotta get you something. Your birthday's coming up.
No, don't worry about it. It was just a idea I had. So, but
oh, that's sweet.
so next time I
We'll
see
talk,
you,
we'll
I'll probably get that to you. So
okay, that's nice of you.
yeah.
I've never had Magic cards, but I'd be willing to try if it had
Yeah.
a Final Fantasy guy on them.
Yeah, it's got the Cloud guy and all of his gang, and so you might like that. So
yeah, for sure. I'll
the
check that out.
yeah, at the very least the cards just look incredible. So
Good art.
I bought that, and then I bought a box of play boosters that had like I don't know, like 30 or so play boosters in there that I cracked open, and I was able to. The best pull I found in there was a full art of the Sephiroth card. It's like a 2-sided card, and it's got like some like original artist artwork. I don't remember the original artist on that game, but I know it's not a mono. But they have artworks from Amano for like the games that Amano worked on, and those cards are incredible looking.
Right.
So yeah, it was a lot of fun. I had all that pre-ordered, and I pre-ordered like 2 entries to the pre-release for that set, and so I was at the like card store from like 5:30 p.m. to 4:30 a.m. playing
What?
Magic the Gathering.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah. Yep.
That's insane.
Yep.
That's insane.
Yep.
I had no idea you did that. When was this?
That was last Friday. Yep, last Friday.
Oh my gosh, that's insane.
Yep.
Oh my gosh.
But it was exciting.
I'm glad you got it though.
I was having a blast playing with the new Final Fantasy cards. I mean, they were all just incredible, and they have every single Final Fantasy character you can think of as a card, and they're all just so mechanically intertwined with the characters themselves. So it's really an incredible set for Final Fantasy fans and for Magic the Gathering fans. There's a lot to enjoy as well.
I'm a Final Fantasy fan.
Yeah,
I fit the criteria of the first part. So.
Yeah, it's a lot of fun. So, I
Cool.
yeah, I also got a full art of Go-Go, which is pretty cool. It's a really powerful card because it lets you like copy abilities. Essentially, is really good effect. So, I'm excited to use that card.
Cool.
But
This might be my gateway into Magic. We'll see.
Yeah.
What it does.
Yeah. But yeah, it's a cool set to check out if you're a Final Fantasy fan or a Magic the Gathering fan. Definitely check out Final Fantasy in Magic the Gathering.
Well said. So yeah, our topic. We're not going to talk about all these games. Okay.
No.
There's too many. But the summer games mess, the Christmas time
Yep.
for video games, the E3 showcases kind of for the
The
summer.
not E3, E3.
Not
'cause
E3.
E3 is
Not
dead.
E3. E3 is dead. Long
Sadly.
live E3.
Yeah.
RIP E3. All these companies came out and said we got video games. We're still making those. So
They
they
do
had
make
some
video
conferences
games.
about it. They do, and I kind of wrote some that interested me. Again, we will not be going through all of these, but
Every single
I'm
one.
going to,
One by one.
or I'm going to highlight a couple that stuck with me, and if you do 3 to 5 of the same, and we'll just slightly remark about them, because there's a lot of them we don't know much about. A lot of them are reveals, but I have a few I've highlighted myself personally that I'm very, very into. So, without further ado, I'll list 3 to 5 of ones that I'm like really pumped for. So, the first one happened today at the Konami press conference to show off Silent Hill F and Metal Gear Solid Delta stuff. Silent Hill F is one of those. This had been announced
excited for
months
that game?
back. Yes, that game looks great. It's
Yeah.
the first Silent Hill that's taking place outside of America, which is a big deal. It looks fantastic. It looks so good. It's by first-time developer. Well, it's by this developer called Neobards. They don't do a lot of new games. They do a lot of ports. They do a lot of those sorts of things. They did the Mega Man Legacy stuff,
Yeah.
I think, or at least the Zero Collection. They were part of that. They do a lot of ports and everything. But man, that game looks so good. What did you think about that thing?
The Silent Hill F?
Silent Hill F.
Yeah, that
Yes.
looks amazing, yeah. Is
Yeah,
it?
It's like a Japanese schoolgirl sort of thing in the
Yeah,
60s.
I feel like this is... Yeah, they got the freaking writer from Higurashi to write this thing, or to work on this thing. If you don't know Higurashi, it's like one of the most influential visual novels ever produced. Like, it's a horror visual novel. And they got that guy to help with this game. So
Okay.
it's
I
really
didn't know
exciting
his,
for me.
I didn't
Yeah.
know his bona fides. I figured that you might
Ryukishio
know
7 is his what he goes by. But yes.
pen name.
Yep.
Yeah.
So
but
it's
yeah,
super
this game
exciting.
comes out in freaking September. This game comes out in September.
Yeah.
And it looks amazing.
Yeah.
And I'm so excited to
I'm
play
playing
it. If
this
it's
on
even
release.
as
Yeah.
Me too. Yeah, it's become one of my most anticipated games. If it's even half as good as that Silent Hill 2 remake, I am going to be so jazzed. So yeah, we got a lot of games to talk about, so we'll move on. But Silent Hill F looks amazing. There's not known much about this, but stay on the Silent Hill tip. They are remaking Silent Hill 1, the PS1 version.
Yeah.
From Bloober Team, the same guys that did Silent Hill 2,
Yep.
the remake of that. So if it's, like I said, if it's as good as that second one, I will be thrilled, because I'm excited to see that first one. And then they should finish it with 3 and then not do any more of those.
Probably. That's probably right.
And
Yep.
then just make
new ones. Let
Silent Hill
them
games there.
make new ones. Yep. Have 2
'Cause
teams.
2's relatively... Yeah.
Have the
exactly.
F team
Have 2
and then
teams.
have the Bluebird team making games, and that'll go a long way, I think, for them.
Yeah, I mean, Konami's coming back in a big way, publishing
Yeah.
video games and
Yep.
greenlighting stuff. They showed more Metal Gear Solid Delta, which is basically 3 again. Still looking good. I'm excited to play that. A couple highlights in the PlayStation show. I'm just going to list a couple, and we can kind of talk about them at whatever length you want. They revealed Pragmata from Capcom. Not sure quite what that game is, but that was
I don't know what
vaporware
that
for
is.
a long time.
Yeah.
They announced it. 7, 8 years ago at a show.
I googled
and
this
it's
and I
just
still don't
shown up
understand
again.
what this game is, so that's awesome.
It's a third person game. It's a third person game that they announced years ago.
Sure.
It's the Deep Down. It was their Deep Down moment, which famously Deep Down was shown and people played it and it just disappeared forever. People thought Pragmata was going to be that way. So there's that. They're doing another Bloodstained. That first one's good. Final Fantasy Tactics. This is a big one. The Ivalice Chronicles, which is a port of the PSP game, I want to say. It's at least got the translation of the PSP one, which is the one you want. But I think it still has the main graphics from the first one. from the first release of that. And they also have done some, some improvements on graphics or whatever they think it is. But instead of just making that the current thing, they are basically having a comparison mode like Halo Combat Evolved, where you can pick from this set of graphics to this one, and I think you can switch it at will, which is ideal. If you want to see the new stuff and then see the old stuff, you can kind of swap between those. But Final Fantasy Tactics, it's beloved. I love Advance personally so much. I am very, very excited to play that game. That's also coming out this year. Maybe you'll play it too. Who knows? They showed more Ghost of Yotei. It still looks good. Again, I wonder what the appetite is for a samurai game after Assassin's Creed Shadows in the same year, but we shall see.
It's Sucker Punch. People liked that first Ghost of Tsushima.
People will show up for it.
People will show up for it. Yeah.
They will, and it's a new protagonist, which is the way to go with that series. You don't need another Jin Sakai game. You just don't.
You don't.
Told the story.
It was a great story,
cool.
But they don't need another.
Yeah.
Yeah.
IO Interactive. They showed off the new Bond game, 007 First Light. It looks really great. Basically, and the tagline is "Earn the Number." So basically, he is like this fledgling secret agent for MI6 or 5, or whatever the hell Bond's a part of, and he's trying to earn his 007 status, which is cool.
That's cool. James Bond is cool.
And they're doing James Bond is cool, and they're doing a literal faithful book adaptation.
This looks really good.
They took from the Ian Fleming drawing of Bond that he commissioned with the scar and everything, and it's like a literary adaptation of Bond.
That looks really
from the
good.
Hitman team. From the Hitman team.
I'm gonna have to play this game.
Yes, it is a 2026 game. It will be out next year, but it looks phenomenal. It looks so.
I'm gonna have to show this
good.
game to my dad. Be like, Dad, look how video games look. I know you haven't seen one since 2005 or whatever, but
yeah. Last time he bought you a video game, he's like, Fire Emblem, this is $70. Get this out of here. But this game looks really good. It's by IO Interactive.
Yeah.
Very excited for this thing.
It's very cool.
What else do we want to talk about? They're putting out Neo 3. I didn't like 1 or 2. That's just me. It's a Tecmo Koei joint. Romeo is a Dead Man from Grasshopper Manufacturer. This looks sick.
They got Mr. Suda51 himself working on this thing.
They got him back out. He's making some wild stuff.
Yep.
He's like the Takashi Miike of freaking video games.
Yep. This looks very good.
So the thing about Grasshopper Manufacturer games, real quick, is just like the devil's in the details with those things. Like there are a lot of style and sometimes no substance.
Sure.
Sometimes. I hope the gameplay is just as good as the visuals, because the visuals are insane for this game.
Yep.
Like you can't even describe what's happening. Just watch a trailer for this thing. It's insane. Great name. Romeo's a Dead Man is a great name. Such a good name.
They always have cool names.
It is.
No More Heroes. Killer 7. Yeah.
Killer 7. Yep. Sword of the Sea. I am personally really excited for this. I love Giant Squid. It's from the guys that did Journey, which is a classic classic game for the PlayStation 3, and they ported it to 4. But they also made Absu and the Pathless, and those games are great. They're very atmospheric third-person adventure games, kind of with like a very meditative quality to them. Usually a lot of things with nature, and it seems like this is very similar to that. Excited for that game. I'm going to be playing the crap out of that. Ninja Gaiden Ragebound, another Ninja Gaiden game. That's crazy. They're putting out 2 in the same year. They're putting out this and then Ninja Gaiden 4 as well. They showed at the Xbox show. But it's by the Game Kitchen, who did freaking Blasphemous, dude. Like, that's kind of awesome. It looks really good. The pixel art is very, very crunchy. I love the look of that. Love the look of that game. And then another one is Mortal Kombat Collection. This is amazing. I'm a huge Mortal Kombat fan. My first video game was Mortal Kombat 3. Huh? It's the first game I ever played in my entire life. I remember it succinctly, like when I was younger. I was just like sitting there with a friend playing it. He didn't want me to play it because I was too young. I was younger than him, and I was like, whatever. My mom can yell at me later, and I played it and I loved it. I was like 5 or 6. Now here I am talking about video games later. It is a digital Eclipse game. They basically have been doing these museum pieces. They did the Atari 50 collection. They did like the Jeff Minter stuff. They're basically making these compilations of a bunch of series of video games, and they're making documentaries inside of there where they're interviewing people, the creators of those games, and they're doing deep dives into those games and the materials, and they're getting like a bunch of bonus features and stuff from like for instance Mortal Kombat 1, 2, 3, they had these like sprites, from digital actors that they took like mocap video of, and then they pixelated them. They have the actual footage in this, so they're like museum pieces. It's really cool. So that's going to be awesome. The one that is the highlight of the show is Marvel Tokon Fighting Soul.
Yes.
By Arxis.
Yes.
So you're a huge Guilty Gear fan. You're
Yes.
also a huge Marvel fan.
Yes.
How do you feel about this?
I'm so ecstatic
Over
for
the
this
moon.
game. Yes, over the moon. Absolutely. I'm a huge Marvel, huge Arxis. This is like the perfect two people like working together. And yes. I love I love the models for the characters they've shown off so far, especially Iron Man. He looks amazing. So.
Oh my god, his like what do they call that? Like Takatsu or whatever, like that Pokemon, that not Pokemon, that Power Ranger aesthetic. They Power Rangered Iron Man up.
Yeah. He looks like a Tokusatsu hero. Yes, it looks so cool.
Yes.
Captain America does too. He looks very Tokusatsu as well. It's awesome.
It's got that Japanese flavor. Like Capcom gestures at that with still retaining that American flavor.
Sure,
this feels distinctly Japanese anime. I love that about it.
It's a good fit for it. Like it's a good fun flavor of it, right? So
it is a 4v4 tag fighter.
Yes, 4v4 is
huge.
insane. Yeah.
I don't know. Has there ever been a fighting game that's been 4v4?
I don't know one. Not a mainstream one, at least. No.
There's mostly 3v3s when it comes to tag
Yes.
fighters. That's how Dragon Ball Fighters is. That's how like
Marvel
Capcom
versus
SNK
Capcom.
is.
Capcom versus SNK. Yeah.
And so it leaves people wanting another Marvel versus Capcom too. They're like, why didn't they approach them? But it's it's nice to have a different thing too.
I like this because it's just the Marvel, and we haven't had that since like the PlayStation 1. So,
right,
because I think the last one that was just Marvel was X-Men Children of Atom. So
it was either that or it was Marvel Superheroes that Capcom made. They made just a X-Men and Avengers fighting game. Like they just did that. I forget the title of it though. I'm with you. Yeah.
I can't remember which one came first, but those two both exist. But the point is they haven't done this in forever, and it's exciting to see just the Marvel dorks in a fighting game together, and an Arxis one at that. So it's going to look beautiful, and all the character designs look awesome. I'm not even a fan of like Miss Marvel, but she looks awesome in this like rendition of her. Like she looks so cool. They all look so cool. Star-Lord looks awesome. So Doctor Doom looks awesome. They just all the character designs are so cool. But I definitely like that Iron Man the best because he, like you said before, he's got like that sort of mesh between like the American and Japanese to make him look just so visually distinct from any other Iron Man design.
Right. And like a couple things. The first thing, like Disney and Capcom, they're still tight. I mean, they just did that those collections, so it's been on the brain for them to do another Marvel versus Capcom. I'm sure they had to redo all the licenses, so I'm sure that relationship is still good. Who knows when they do another Marvel versus Capcom? It would be nice. Capcom is having a golden age, like a renaissance for their games. So if they did another one in like the style of Street Fighter 6, that would be really cool. But it's interesting to get this version, this flavor of Marvel with a different company. And they, in this showcase to kind of end it, like they had this whole preamble about how Sony came up to them, Arxis, and said, "Hey, how would you feel if you pitched Marvel on a fighting game and we funded it?" And they basically went like, "Yeah, we would love to do that. That's insane." that were going to like have a three-pronged effort, and so it took like three major corporations to come together and make this happen. It's kind of like this dream project that came out of thin air, and it's Sony came up with the idea, which is amazing. And I wonder if it had to do with their Evo effort. Who knows? But it's a very fascinating project.
Yep.
We're both very excited about that.
ArcSys is gonna knock it out of the water, and Marvel is gonna be like, yeah, when can we get another one of these?
Basically.
That's what's gonna happen.
Well, Capcom, it's gonna light a fire under Capcom's ass to go like, hey, we need to make another one too to compete with this. And Disney doesn't care because they're gonna license out whatever, and they're having an existing relationship with Capcom anyway, so that's only good for business, right? But yeah, that was the highlight of this PlayStation show. Where people were like, okay, this is Marvel, and
so
they're like,
cool.
This is ArcSys. This is Marvel ArcSys. What? And it looks like this. Like, it's.
And they've got Ghost Rider in there too. Like they have some like Miss Marvel and Ghost Rider aren't seen a whole lot in games released. So.
Not this version of Ghost Rider specifically. They had a version of Ghost Rider in Marvel vs. Capcom.
Right.
But he was the regular Ghost Rider. This is the Robbie Reyes Ghost Rider, which is the one I prefer. I think he's super cool. He's like the Miles Morales Ghost Rider sort of thing. Super cool looking. He's got that nice biker jacket with the U on it, or the N, whatever you want to say. It's really cool. It's like this white piping that I really appreciate. But yeah, it's got such a good look to it. Such a good look. They're going to announce a ton more characters.
Oh yeah,
they're doing 4v4.
They've got to have a lot of characters for 4v4. Yep, absolutely.
Yeah, for sure. I wonder if it's going to be a first down then out, or if it's going to be you go through your entire roster. Because some are like, hey, you have to defeat every character to win. And some are like, you knock down one, you're done. Like it's a. I wonder how that would be.
I'd imagine you have settings, to where like you can.
Okay. Sure.
You can have less, or you can have it to where like if one you're out, or you can have it to where you go through your whole roster. I'm sure they have settings for that. That's what I would imagine.
Right.
I just don't know what would be like the default there, but
I don't know. But that's primarily PlayStation stuff. It was by far the most exciting of the announcements I saw at one of these shows. Like people were hyped for this thing.
Yeah.
I personally like the Xbox one a lot. That was just me because of a couple games that were shown there. But my favorite announcement this entire weekend was Resident Evil REquiem. I'm going bananas for this game, dude. I am so excited. I loved everything about Resident Evil. All the remakes they've done. I love Village so much. Resident Evil 4, it makes it one of the best games ever, even better. Like, Capcom has been in such a tear. And there has been rumors of Resident Evil 9. I even predicted it in our prediction show last time. I predicted that, and I predicted Persona 4, which we'll get to. And I was right about both. Like, when they announced this, the Q is 9 for Requiem, which I love that they keep doing that. It looks so good. The key art for this thing, dude, looks like a PS1 game. Have you seen it?
Yeah.
It looks so good. You're going back to Raccoon City. Oh my gosh, it's insane. After it's already been bombed after the events of 2 and 3. Oh my goodness, it's going to be amazing. It's from an existing character from, oh my gosh, what was it? Operation Raccoon City or something? Like her daughter, one of the characters in that. I forget what her name is. Yeah, it looks so good. Like the vibes of that thing are immaculate. Definitely my favorite reveal of the entire week. You have to play Village. I know you liked 7 a good deal. So.
Yeah, I did like 7 a good deal. Yeah.
Village is like is very Resident Evil 4 coded, and I love it for that.
So when do you think they just drop the Resident Evil branding? Just have everything be Biohazard.
They won't.
You don't think so?
Resident Evil has too much cachet.
They did that with Yakuza.
To that with 7.
Yeah.
Yeah, they did, but like
it's
they
like a
did
dragon
that. Okay,
now.
and we'll get to that a little bit too, because we're going to be talking about an RGG game next. But they dropped the branding for that specifically because they changed styles of games and it worked that way. You know, where they went Yakuza Like a Dragon and saying like, hey, this is a new version of these Yakuza games. It's a turn-based game, so it's a new series. So they set that precedent by saying, "Hey, we're naming this game two of the same thing," because they're like a dragon in the West.
Yes.
You know. So
Or
when
in
they
the
dropped
East.
it, they
They're,
made
they're
it
like
like
a dragon in the East. Yeah.
Right. Then they made it like a Dragon Infinite Wealth, and so people go, "Okay, this is what the new games are going to be called."
Yeah.
And it's basically a break from combat style to turn-based to regular, you know. And they even gesture towards that with Kiryu's character in Infinite Wealth, where he plays like he does in Yakuza, where you are fighting with him.
Yep.
Like you will actually do beat 'em up stuff with him, as compared to everybody else using turn-based, which is cool.
Yep.
But yeah, I wonder why they, like I said, they gestured at that. They do a very specific thing with Biohazard, Resident Evil 7 Biohazard.
Yep.
It's very Yakuza.
I thought they would do that, and then they just decided to keep the Resident Evil brand, evidently. So.
Yeah, Biohazard's a great name.
It is.
It reminds me of The Evil Within. The game, they named that game in Japan Psycho Break. It is such a good name. I wonder why they didn't keep that for America.
Well, Resident
but,
Evil,
like, I prefer.
It doesn't harken to what the game is actually about. Biohazard, it's about chemical warfare and chemical zombies.
Warfare.
Yeah.
And I can tell you why. The answer is somebody in America from Capcom named it, because there's like a contest to name it, and people were like, "Oh, Resident Evil. Okay, that's a unique name."
Yeah.
And they went with that. That's the answer.
Instead of just going with Biohazard, yeah.
Basically. But yeah, I'm pumped for this game. It looks amazing. It comes out in February, which is unbelievable. There are rumors that this game is open world. I can't even imagine that. It will have first and third person at launch, which is bananas.
Not every game needs to be open world.
No, but if they do, I trust Capcom like implicitly these days. They just churn out.
They are the Nintendo of third parties. That's what we've discussed before. They are consistent.
Totally.
Yeah.
They're so consistent and they're so polished. Even their experiments work. Like I think Dragon's Dogma 2 is not an amazing game, but it's still a very good game. For instance, and it's one of their more experimental things. And yeah, like on that Yakuza tip, Stranger Than Heaven, Project Sentry got re-revealed with a new name. Has an amazing key art with this kind of like hard-boiled detective cop with blue eyes. I think he's a mix. I think he's race mixed. He's a white and Japanese character, is what it looks like to me, which is very interesting for that time period. It's like late 1800s to early 1900s. The first teaser was 1915, and then the second one was 1940s. So it's probably following this guy throughout his entire life, and it seems very Yakuza coded. And I think they're doing this game because they don't want to do the Judgment stuff anymore, but they want to keep that same gameplay style, right? Because the issue with the Judgment stuff is that they made two of those games, but the main character, his likeness, he's like the freaking I don't know, the Justin Bieber of Japan. Like he was a big pop star back then. Yeah, Takaya Kimura, I think his name was, for the Judgment games. They used his likeness. He was a very popular actor and pop artist. But they were in litigation with RGG, his team, and them for porting it to PC, basically, because they didn't want him being nude modded. So I think this is a response to that, where they are making that similar type of game they want to make by reusing assets and stuff, but making it just a new series. I think that's what they're doing. You would have gotten another Judgment game probably, but they're making this basically that.
This is probably
it looks
better,
great,
to be honest.
I think so too. I think the setting is amazing. I hope it's really, really good because it looks good. I don't know if you've seen a trailer for this thing, but it looks awesome. Tribute Games have a couple announcements. Scott Pilgrim EX, kind of a big deal. People like that first one. I personally don't. They did Shredder's Revenge, which is my favorite beat 'em up ever. I love that game so much. But they also did Marvel Cosmic Invasion, which they announced a couple of new characters, She-Hulk and Rocket Raccoon. That game looks immaculate.
I don't think I've heard of this game. Oh, this is it's like the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles game.
It's like Shredder's Revenge. Yeah. Totally. And if it's half as good as that game, I'll be psyched.
This looks good. Yeah, this looks really good.
Yes, it looks really good. They need to have crossplay though. If they don't have crossplay, they've fucked up. So, freaking Mina the Hollower got an announcement date. I'm going vertical right now.
Yes.
Halloween, that game is coming out finally. I
Yes.
hope they don't move that game. Oh my gosh.
Please
it's so
don't.
good.
We need that game. It's gonna be so good.
Pippistrello, the game I was talking about earlier, kind of reminds me of Mina the Hollower slightly.
Mm.
Just that like viewing angle looks very similar, but it's like that Game Boy Color style. It's very Link's Awakening DX looking. I love the way Mina the Hollower looks.
It
It's
looks
from Yacht
so
Club.
good.
That's what's important.
Yeah, Yacht Club. They were one of the originals that really put indie gaming on like the market. Like they made it a household like thing to play indie games.
Yep.
So they were one of the 1st that were really doing that. So.
Yeah, that game looks awesome. It's coming out this year. Thank God. Hopefully that does not get pushed. Staying on the Capcom tip, they were like the developer / publisher of the show. Like Capcom showed so much good stuff. They showed Onimusha Way of the Sword again. I love Onimusha 1 so much.
I need to get around to
I
that
own
game.
2 and 3. Yeah, I own 2 and 3 on PS2 as well. I have yet to play both of those. They did port 2 recently, actually, to modern consoles, so you can play that there. And I hear that people like 2 the best out of all those old ones. But yeah, Way of the Sword looks really good. Another 2026 game. It looks very technically proficient. I love the way it looks. It seems like it's going to play super well. Yeah, it might fill that Sekiro hole we're looking for. Who knows? It seems like a lot of counter-based samurai dewy action, which is going to be cool. Again, I'm not going to get through all of these, but there are a couple highlights. That was one of them. Liza P. Overture, that DLC came out. You're going to want to check that out at some point because you like Liza P. a fair bit, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I will have to check it out.
Yeah, that looks good. It's like it looks like it's winter themed, which is kind of cool. You're wearing a lot of fur caps and stuff and fighting.
Yeah. I'm
wolves
more excited for whatever they do next because it's going to be Wizard of Oz, and that's going to be incredible.
Yeah. I wonder if that's going to be Liza P2 or something different.
I'd wager
if they
something
name
different
it.
because it's probably going to be focused more on like a Dorothy sort of figure.
Yeah, it looks. Yeah, that famously that's the teaser for the end of Liza P. Is that there might be a Wizard of Oz influence, which looks cool.
Yep.
It looks really cool. Hopefully that's good. There's that. They showed some more Dying Light: The Beast. I know almost nothing about that game. I like the first one of those games. I need to check in more of that. They showed Atomic Heart 2, which the first one people like okay but don't love. It visually looks interesting. Has a great trailer. I think you should watch it. Code Vein 2, LOL. That's funny that exists.
Saying we've got a friend who's actually very hyped for that. It might be like his most anticipated game. So
our friend.
Yeah.
He loves that. He loves Code Vein. So,
I couldn't get through that first one. Maybe I try and revisit that. I don't know.
God bless him, honestly. I mean, God bless him. It's not my thing.
No.
One of the best trailers they showed in this show was Ill. Really good horror trailer.
That
I wonder if
looks
that game's
pretty
gonna be
cool.
good.
Yeah.
It might be. It looks very tech demo-y. I wonder how well it plays, but it
Right.
looks kind of awesome. You look at it and you're like, man, this looks like a next-gen video game. So, if you want to see some crazy stuff, look up that trailer. Ill.
Gore.
Who knows if it's
warning.
good?
Body horror
it is
warning.
very gross. Very gross. It's
Yeah.
one of the grossest trailers I've seen in a while.
Yeah.
I'm a horror mark. I'll probably play it.
Yeah.
I don't know if it's said when it was coming out, but it's coming out soon. So I don't think it's a this year game. I think it's probably a next year game. Sonic Racing CrossWorlds. You're excited about this.
Saying you
Who's your
committed
mark?
a cardinal sin because you put the Ichiban guy and Joker persona on your notes, but
I
you
know.
didn't
I was
you
gonna
didn't
text
put
it.
Hatsune Miku. That's the only reason why
sorry.
I would ever play this game is for Hatsune Miku. Like Sonic the Hedgehog,
I
he's a cool
know.
guy. I like the spiky guy. Whatever, he's fine. But Hatsune Miku, Hatsune
I'm
Miku.
sorry. I saw this and I was intending to change it, and then my wife came home.
You're good. You're
So
good.
I thought about that, but
I might check out this game. I don't know. I don't really play racing.
you
games,
will.
so-
You will.
I don't
the,
know.
The call for Hatsune Miku, the call for it is too strong. You will play as Hatsune Miku.
I probably
I know-
will. I probably will.
I know you so well.
I
You
probably
love.
will.
You
Yeah.
love the Miku.
I do. I'm
You
a
love
long-time Miku fan. Long-time Miku fan.
Yes.
So,
Yes.
um,
So
how long has it been? Like
let's just-
16 years? Yeah, I've been listening to Miku stuff for 16 years now, so...
Let's just pencil Noah in. Already bought this game. Okay, we're moving
Sure.
on. End of Abyss looks cool. It looks. There's a lot of good horror games that got shown. This looks cool. Great trailer. Not going to say much more about it because I don't know much more about it. But End of Abyss looked really good. There's a Wu-Tang game coming out, which is hilarious. Hopefully, it has a really good soundtrack to it. We'll see. There's a really bad Wu-Tang game. That came out. What was that? Was that a? Oh my gosh. Sega game? I forget. But there's a really bad Wu-Tang game back in the day.
Yeah.
This one's called Rise of the Deceiver. But there's famously a Wu-Tang game that came out under the Thrill Kill engine, a game that did not come out, but they basically retrofitted it into a Wu-Tang game and put it out years ago. So
Are you talking
that's kind of the
about the PS1 game?
PS1 maybe. It was that era.
Yeah, that was
what's the name of that
Activision. Wu-Tang Shaolin Style?
Shaolin Style, that's right. There you go. Yeah, Wu-Tang is for the children, and nobody liked that first one. So this is a new team, Brass Lion. It looked really good. It actually looked really good. It's a good-looking game. I wish old Dirty Bastard could have been alive to see this, but I guess we'll have to settle for the RZA. We'll see. One of the highlights of this show felt that boxing. Did you see this thing? It's basically Puppet Punch-Out. It looks amazing.
I did not see this thing.
They basically made a puppet game all in Unreal 5.
Wow.
And it looks like a puppet. Yeah, it
Yeah.
felt that boxing. You're doing punch-out things. You're dodging, ducking, whatever. You're doing mini-games in between.
That's
to
fun.
kind of train. It kind of looks awesome. It
Yeah.
looks like Sesame Street by way of Rocky. Like
Yeah.
it looks kind of
That looks
awesome.
fun.
You got puppets. You got puppets swearing in there. And then another little tidbit, since we were talking about IO Interactive at the beginning here. Lashif is a target from Casino Royale in the Hitman World of Assassination game.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah, I love Hitman. I will probably do that before it expires in a few weeks. So
Oh, it
we'll
expires.
get
It's
to
too
that.
bad.
That's how it goes. But
Okay.
they always bring them back. They're like on a rotation.
Okay.
So they'll come back. A couple things from Day of the Day devs. We're almost done. These we're gonna just piecemeal. I'm not gonna even talk about all of them. Toem 2. I love Toem 1. That looks awesome. It's freaking Pokemon Snap Simulator with
okay.
little black and white creatures. I love Toem.
Sure.
It's very, very good. The next game from House, the guys that made Untitled Goose Game, are making this thing called Big Walk, where it's all communication based multiplayer game where you have to basically go from end to end of this like very expansive world, but you have to communicate with your team with like signs and gestures and sounds
Weird.
and stuff. It looks really good. I think it would be a fun game to play.
Probably.
Mixtape looks interesting by the Artful Escape developers, Beethoven Dinosaur. It looks kind of like Stranger Things a little bit. I'm into those sort of games. It looks like a what do you call it? Life is Strange like, we'll put it that way. It kind of looks like Life is Strange. Drinkbox has another game coming out. The people that made Guacamelee, I love all their games. It's called Blighted. I don't know much
think
about
I've played any of
that,
their
but it
games.
looks good. Yeah, that looks good. Moonlighter 2's coming out. That looks awesome. I love Moonlighter 1. Check that game out if you haven't. It's one of the
Never
best
heard of it.
games you can play. It's really good. Really, really good. Couple of other ones off the rip. Dos Divas, Possessors, Neverway. Check out those games. Great trailers. Really good people behind those games. Unbeatable as well. That is good. The last two are your bag, though. The first we'll talk about is Off from Unproductive Fun Time. That's getting a Switch physical edition, which is cool.
I
what
think
is
I
it?
have that
From Limited
pre-ordered.
Run or
No, it's
who's doing that?
Fangamer is who I pre-ordered.
Is it Fangamer?
from.
Okay,
Yep.
okay.
Yeah, and I've
But
got
that I will
that.
be playing that. That looks cool. So yeah,
Yeah.
It is. Was it in a Game Maker game or something like that, or
It was an RPG Maker game. Yep, RPG Maker. Yep.
Okay, and you're a huge fan of that game. So.
I'm a huge fan of RPG Maker games in general. That's kind of where I got my start in the horror genre. And Off is just a really incredible game. Very weird RPG. Even like Undertale takes influence from Off. they actually have Toby Fox helping with some of the soundtrack remixes for this game, so that'll be
Oh,
pretty
cool. That's
So
cool.
it's kind of came full
Toby
circle.
Fox.
Yep.
Yeah, Toby Fox is like, it's like everybody likes Stardew. All the indie developers like Toby Fox. It's like that.
Yep. Yep.
So that's cool. Yeah, I'm excited to play that. That comes out this year, and then Ratatan. We're excited for that.
Ratatan.
That's your game.
Yes, I am the rhythm
it's
guy.
Patapon spiritual successor.
Yep.
They showed a couple Japanese fellows talking about the game and saying, "Hey, you remember Patapon? We're doing that again, but it's multiplayer and it's awesome."
Good stuff.
They didn't. Did they say a release date for that game or no? I don't think they did.
No, I don't believe so.
They did not. Okay, I don't even know if that's a this year game. It might not be. Yeah, that was
No.
Oh, did they?
Yeah, it's July 24th of this year.
Oh, dude, that's so close.
It's so
oh my
close.
gosh.
The game
Dude,
looks
so
incredible.
you're gonna get Donkey Kong Bonanza and then Ratatan back to back.
It's gonna be good.
Dude.
Yes.
You're gonna be.
It's gonna be so
feasting.
good.
Oh
It's
my
gonna be so
gosh.
good. Donkey Kong and Ratatan, two of my favorite things. Both the rhythm Patapon stuff and Donkey Kong, 'cause I like the Donkey Kong. So that'll be cool. That'll be cool.
Banana.
Ooh, banana. Okay.
To kind of before we finish with the Xbox stuff, which is the one I like the most personally, it had the most stuff for me. There was rumors that there would be a Nintendo Direct after the Switch launch. Who knows when that is? They need to announce more video games and release dates. It
Give
might
us a
be a July
Fire
and
Emblem.
August thing. They should. That game is done, so they should. Apparently, Metroid Prime 2 is done as well.
Give us that game too. That's a good game. Prime 2's very
they
underrated.
Should put out 2 and 3 so people can
Hello.
play, sequentially before 4.
Hello.
That's what they should do.
Yeah.
That's what they did for Pikmin.
I still
before
gotta play
4 came
3.
out.
I haven't played 3 yet, so I still gotta play that game.
Okay. What is that subtitle? Corruption?
No, 2 is Corruption.
Okay, 3 is what? Echoes?
No.
No. 2 is Echoes.
You're right. You're absolutely right. 2 is Echoes, 3 is Corruption.
I think
then.
3 is Corruption.
That sounds right.
Yeah. See,
You're
I'm
right.
right.
You're
I was
right.
right about something. But yeah, that they should do that. They should do that Pikmin thing. But yeah, who knows when that Direct comes out? I would love to know more release dates and more video games. I feel like they need one more big game for this year, and then they put a date on it. Like, there's one more, and then we'll be good. I think we'll be fine. We'll see how it goes.
It's gotta be a Fire Emblem, yeah.
Let's hope.
Yeah.
We'll finish off with the Xbox. Had a lot of crazy stuff on it. We'll get the not so interesting things out of the way. Gears of War Reloaded, PS5 port. It's out in August. Hopefully you get that. Maybe it's a budget game, Noah. I think you might like it.
What
We
is
play
it?
through together. Gears of War Reloaded. It's Gears of War 1.
I'm not really interested.
It's fun. It's a good game. I am excited about it because I like Gears of War. Invincible Versus, another fighting game, kind of a big deal. Also by a first-time studio, Quarter Up. It looks good. It looks very NetherRealmy. It looks very Mortal Kombat-y. But I've heard from people that have played it that it is a good game. Tony Hawk Pro Skater 3+4. I'm not a big Tony Hawk person. I've tried multiple times to like those games. They have Mikey from TMNT in it and Doom Guys, so whatever, I guess. If you want to do that, you can. That game comes out very soon. It's this summer at some point. I don't know a time. Final Fantasy 16 dropped on Xbox. That's kind of a big deal. Apparently that port's not very good though, so steer clear from that if you can play it other places.
That's too bad.
And then Remake
need to play
Integrate, if
that
it
game.
hasn't dropped, 16's a good game. Remake Integrate, which is the first Final Fantasy VII remake. I think if it hasn't dropped, it is going to drop on Xbox.
That's
That
weird.
game's amazing.
Final Fantasy on Xbox. That's pretty weird. What a day to be alive.
I know, right? Yeah. It's crazy. Someone stated that you could play through the entire Final Fantasy series except for 11 on Xbox now.
Yeah,
PlayStation
that's
can't
wild.
even do that. So
Yeah.
that is, it's crazy. They showed Solo Leveling Arise, which is a 4-player co-op game. That game is a mobile game and it exists now. I don't know much about it, but it sounds kind of crappy.
Yeah.
Indiana Jones, they had some DLC that's coming out this year. Whatever. I like that game. Okay, I'm not gonna play it. The DLC probably. High on Life 2, High on Life 1 fucking sucks. Don't play that game. Chronos.
Hi, I'm a
Sorry.
gun. Why don't you shoot me? Yeah.
Basically, it's more like oh, I'm secreting liquids that are ammo and I'm complaining about it. That's what that game is. Oh boy, you're really pulling that trigger there. Oh boy, I'm really shitting some ammo for you. Oh god, he's tickling my testicle. Oh god, that's what that.
Oh
game is.
yeah, that's what you want to hear. While you're playing
it's
a
literally
action game.
it's literally bleach being poured into my ear. Like that's how it feels. I don't think that second game looks any good. Anyway, they put out a CG trailer for that thing. That game's out in August. It's super weird. Like, they're not going to show any gameplay of that thing? Whatever. Who cares? I'm not going to play it. Chronos The New Dawn by Bloober Team. They're making another horror game. Looks awesome. I think that game looks really cool.
Cool.
I will check in on that for sure. Another big one, Super Meat Boy 3D looks awesome. I love Super Meat Boy so much. I from what I can tell, this is a remake of the first one.
Oh, is it?
In 3D.
Mm.
I think, but that first one's so good, so that's okay with me. I don't know if it's from Team Meat or not, but it's a next year game, so
I'd like to see them do like a 3D platformer. That'd be cool.
Well, that's what that is. That's basically what it is.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it's not just like a like a remake.
I thought you were saying it was like they just put it in a 3D engine.
Nope. They are remaking. I think they're remaking the first one. It is a 3D platform regardless. If it's just a new Super Meat Boy, great. But yeah. Ninja Gaiden 4 from Platinum Games. It's the first Platinum game in a while.
Yeah.
I feel like Platinum can be a good studio. They make a lot of crap sometimes when they're doing licensed stuff, but when they get people to guide them, they're good. Like for instance, Nier Automata was Platinum.
Yeah.
So I think Ninja Gaiden 4
Bayonetta was Platinum.
Bayonetta was Platinum as well.
Yeah.
I think that was their last game was Bayonetta 3 for Platinum. So
a lot of people didn't quite like Bayonetta 3. Did you ever check out Bayonetta 3?
I own Bayonetta 3. I like it. Okay, it's not as good as 2. 2's the pinnacle.
Yeah, 2 is so good.
Amazing.
2 is so good.
2 is so good. Oh my gosh.
It's incredible game.
I love 2.
Yeah.
I love 2 so much. Oh my gosh. I like the music in 1 better, but everything about 2 is just so much better.
I don't know. They both have pretty incredible soundtracks. I also like the Bayonetta design in 2 better than the 1 design.
I love the person that sings in Bayonetta 1 so much.
Mm-hmm.
Helena Noguera is amazing, and they don't bring her back for the second one, which is a bummer. The Moon River cover for 2 is unbelievable.
It's so good.
Moon River. Oh my gosh, that entire opening is baller, dude. Oh, we should talk about Bayonetta sometime. Oh my gosh.
We should.
Anyway,
Bayonetta's
we'll
good.
continue. They showed off more of the Outer Worlds too. They had like their direct later where they got into deep dive with it. I'm excited to play this game. It's very crunchy RPG stuff that I like. They're bringing back the perk system from Fallout New Vegas, which they say explicitly it's from New Vegas, which is a big deal. That looks cool. I mentioned the ROG Ally X from Xbox. It is a partner device. They're showing off that thing. It's just a ROG with Xbox UI and an Xbox button. So it's probably going to be $1,000 if I had to guess. Not too
$1 billion.
Basically.
Yeah.
I'm saving a couple of the big ones for last, so I'll kind of run through these a little bit. Grounded 2, they showed that off. I like the first game. It's basically Honey, I Shrunk the Kids. Really good game, but it's like a crafting thing. There are no Ghosts of the Grand. This is like a power wash simulator / house flipper like. It's from this studio called Friday Sunday. It's instead of like taking things off of houses, you're like putting stuff back. So you're like sucking up books and then shooting them back on shelf, and they kind of mise en place like find their way to sitting on the shelf right and looking nice, and you're spraying wallpaper back on and stuff. It looks like Louisiana Bayou based I don't know, Extreme Makeover Home Edition. I'm kind of all about it. It looks really good. Persona 4 Revival. I was right about this. They should have named it Rewind, but whatever. It's a win. It is the most like fuck off, leave us alone trailer I've ever seen in my life. They're like, hey, this game exists. It's no way ready. You're gonna see Yu Narukami running. That's it.
Yep.
Leave us alone. And I think it's because of that voice actor thing recently,
Probably.
where everyone was like, I'm not in this game. Well, the game hadn't even been announced yet, and they were
Yeah.
like, "I'm not in this game." And you're like, okay, well, I guess this exists." I think Atlas is pretty pissed about this, but anyway, that looks good. And Fate's End looks really good too. Keeper from Double Fine. It's their first game since Psychonauts 2. I love Psychonauts 2. You play as a lighthouse. It looks really good.
Yeah, it's too bad we didn't see a Persona 6. I would have much rather seen a Persona 6 than
Yeah.
4
I would too.
remake.
But yeah, I wonder how long they're going to take to make that thing. It'll show up probably at the end of this year, if not next year. So I think they're probably still working on that thing. They had a very misleading trailer for Call of Duty Black Ops 7 at the end of the show, which was their one more big thing that was hilarious. I was like, oh no, this is Call of Duty, isn't it? And it was Call of Duty. I'm like, this is so freaking lame to make this your last thing. They made it sound like, and then we have one more big thing for you, and it was freaking Call of Duty.
Call of
The most
Duty!
annual game ever. Yeah, for sure. The last two I wanted to talk about. Beast of Reincarnation. Game Freak sold out to Microsoft and is making a new video game.
Well, so
It looks good.
From what I understand, I don't think it's necessarily an Xbox exclusive.
It's not. I don't think
Yeah.
so either. Well, Xbox doesn't do exclusives like that anymore.
Yeah.
Anyway, so.
But it's crazy that this is a Game Freak game at Xbox Showcase. I was just looking at the trailer for this. I'm like, oh, this looks like maybe a Square Enix game. Maybe this is like, Yoko Taro's next thing. Some kind of near
It looks
thing.
like those freaking. It looks like your stock standard Souls-likes, like Phantom Blade Zero, some shit.
Yeah, and then the Game Freak logo appears. I'm like, those guys. The Pokemon guys? The guys that couldn't even make my Charmander, look right on the 3D? They made this? This is where the Charmander money went to?
So Game Freak has a penchant for doing this. They get a wild hair up their butt, and they decide to make a game every once in a while. They're like, we should make a Mr. Driller. And they're like, but you're the Pokemon company. Mr. Driller. Let's make a Mr. Driller. So they go off and do that.
This isn't really a
we
wild
have an idea for an elephant. Let's do Tembo the badass elephant. And they're like, okay, and they just make it,
Yeah. But this isn't really a wild hair game.
being...
This is very deliberate. Like, this isn't just like a one-off indie thing. This is like a very good looking game for Game Freak.
This game looks crazy.
Looks good in general, but like the Pokemon people, the people that screwed up my Charmander.
It reminds me of that game Scalebound from a long time ago. I don't know why.
I don't think any of the Pokemon games have had good 3D graphics ever. I think I'm of the opinion they should have just stuck with the 2D sprites. That's what they knew how to do. That was their wheelhouse. I don't care if that makes them, not as cool and hip as everyone else. They should have just stuck with the 2D sprites that they knew.
I would love to see who's publishing this game. Who is giving them the money to make this? That's really what I want to see.
It looks
amazing. Is in the Pokemon
there's
game.
There's a
the Pokemon
lot
company,
of
so.
There's a lot of money going into this thing, and Pokemon Company doesn't put money into their games. So
no, they don't. They would rather pump out things because people will buy them regardless. So that looks really good. That did not get a release date. That's a next year game for sure.
It looks amazing.
This game does not have a date. This game does not have a date window. This game has nothing. It is basically a proof of concept. It's called Clockwork Revolution from In Exile. This is...
I don't think I know that, dude.
Maybe my game of the show for Xbox. Clockwork Revolution. It looks insane. It's from the people that made Wasteland 3. They made all the Wasteland games. And the Bard's Tale as well.
This looks like...
amazing show.
BioShock Infinite. That's kind of what it looks like.
It really does. It's very BioShock Infinite / Dishonored. I'm getting a lot of Dishonored from this game also. Very steampunk, Dishonored's very steampunk. But yeah, it was a 5-minute breakdown of what this game is. It's a crunchy RPG, and it seems like very Obsidian / Bethesda realm from In Exile. Okay. In Exile usually does strategy RPGs, which is interesting. Wasteland is a strategy RPG.
Okay.
So this is their first crack at a proper RPG with character building and stuff. It looks really good. It seems like there's going to be a lot of choice in this game. This game didn't even have a release window. who knows when this thing is coming out? This might be a 28, 29 game. Like, it's that far off. It's kind of shocking they showed it here. I think it looks great. It's one of those things they're just basically like, hey, look at this wild stuff. We're going to cook on this while you wait for your games next year. And that brings me to end this thing. There was no Gears of War E-Day here. No Halo. No Fable. No State of Decay 3. No Contraband. No Everwild. No Elder Scrolls 6. They showed nothing of their big games.
Yeah.
That's crazy to me. And in passing, Phil Spencer says, okay, next year, most of those games are going to be here. I'm like, okay. So why don't you just
be here
tease
this
something?
year? Yeah.
Exactly. Because there was points in the show where it was lagging. I'm like, you could have put another trailer here.
Yeah.
All in all, it's a great show. It's really, really good. Next year is going to be insane, it sounds like. There's a lot of games that got announced at these shows. They're coming out next year. I thought this year was good for games. It sounds like next year is going to be a murderer's row.
As we always say,
like this
games
release
just
valve.
get better. Yeah.
They really do. These last couple of years have been awesome. I thought last year was good. This year is blowing it out of the water. And it sounds like 26 is going to be even better than this current. So, yeah, that's the summer game mess. We went through pretty much all of it. I think it looks awesome. It's getting late, so we're gonna blow through a couple of the what we've been looking into and what we're gonna look forward to. If you're down for that, what do you think?
Yeah, let's just blow through it. Maybe not spend too much time on it.
No. There's only a couple things I wanted to say, really. So, I'm caught up for Shampoo. We can start that next week if you want to, or the week after, whatever you want to do. We can watch the first 13 episodes of that and talk about it.
Yeah, that sounds good.
Just kind of talk about however we want to at length. I'm starting to I like that show more.
It's a pretty cool show.
Middling on it.
It's a cool show.
I've just been middling on it for some reason. I don't know why. Watching a couple shows. Too much wrestling. I'm kind of tired of wrestling, but yeah. We've talked enough at length. It's been a long show. It's been good though.
Yes.
Switch 2 stuff, summer game mess stuff. It's been a really packed week. We've both been playing a lot of video games.
A lot of video games. I'm ready to maybe do some other things besides playing video games because I've been playing a lot of video games. So
I have a bunch of library books over here on my left that I have not read. I might crack into those this weekend too.
Yeah.
But yeah, we're both going to be recording our stuff here pretty soon. Once we finish Dark Souls, we're going to cover that in a very extensive way, probably in a crash course.
Yes.
I want to finish my reviews on Doom and Expedition 33. I want to record those, get those up, so you guys can listen to them, and then get it out of my life. So
we'll probably do playthroughs of other Souls likes as well.
Yes.
For that sort of thing. I don't know what we'd do next. I don't know if I could convince you to tackle Dark Souls 2, or if you'd rather do another one.
I want to leave that. I want to leave that towards the end. I really do.
That game's so good.
Because I want to play it with you.
Yes.
And if I can get a PC, I would love to play that with you.
Okay.
Because
that sounds right.
I personally don't want to do it by myself. I'm just telling you. I don't really like that game. I want you to Sherpa me like you're doing for Dark Souls 1. That's genuinely what I want to do. So, so with that being said, we're going to finish up Dark Souls 1. We're going to finish it probably next week at some point. If we don't get it done this weekend, we'll figure it out.
Yeah, and we'll have to. Well, we'll probably have to dust off the PlayStation 4s if we want to.
Yeah.
Play through.
Well, I have my PS5 and I can play Bloodborne through.
You can. Okay.
We can either do that or we can do Demon Souls. I would love to play Bloodborne all the way through with you personally. Yeah. That would be a good one to do because I know that game like the back of my hand.
Yeah, you could probably Sherpa me through that in some ways because I don't know that game very well.
I have a very high level character in that
I haven't played that one a lot.
I've used one character for like 7 years. Like,
okay.
So I'm like New Game plus 5 or whatever. Sure. Like I'm very high up in that thing. So that might be. We'll kind of gesture at that. We'll see how it goes. We're loving Dark Souls 1 though. We're gonna have a very long discussion about.
We'll probably check out that Elden Ring Tarnished Edition on Switch as well.
That'll be the one we tackle, I think.
Yeah.
I think that we're going to do that.
Yeah.
If it runs well, that's the real thing. If it doesn't...
I can't imagine it wouldn't on... Being a Switch 2 game, I can't imagine they wouldn't optimize it for that. I trust FromSoft.
Right. So the two I want to leave for last, it's probably 2 and 3. Because 3 has that seamless co-op mod. If I get a PC, I would love to play through that with you like that. That would
Elden
be a
Ring
good way
has
to
that
do
as well. It has a seamless co-op.
They do, but I kind of want to check out that Switch 2 edition of that game too.
Sure.
So it's kind of like two birds, one stone
Sure.
for that. Demon Souls will fit in there somewhere, and maybe we can do it after Bloodborne. Who knows?
We just don't have
Bloodborne.
a really good way to play Demon Souls together, so I don't think
It
we
might
have
be just
any
the
way.
thing where you play the PS3 copy, I play the PS5 copy.
Yeah.
Might just leave it at that. Dude, we can beat Bloodborne in like a night. It is such a short game once you know what to do.
Oh, I can't do
So-
that. I can't do that in a night.
It's easy. It's easy.
I don't think I could.
Dude, I literally played through it with somebody. It took me 6 hours, like start to finish, with low characters. It was super easy. I want you to get everything out of that game though. Beat all the bosses.
Oh, I've done that
So
before.
we wouldn't. Okay. Well, a refresher anyway.
Yeah.
The idea is to beat all the bosses, do all the things in this
Yes.
game that
Yep.
matter. Go to all the locations,
Yes.
see all the bits of story.
Yep.
We're doing the deepest dive on these
We are.
games.
Yep.
Um,
Except
and yeah,
skipping
we're-
Blight Town because you didn't want to go through Blight Town, so we skipped Blight Town.
we didn't skip Blighttown. We made it to Blighttown. We killed Quelaag. That was all we needed to do in Blighttown. That's
Wow.
there's
We went through the booty hole of Blight Town, so.
We did. We've been
Up
to
through
every
bunghole.
location so far. We haven't missed anything. I found Ash Lake. Like I did everything in Ash Lake. I'm not missing anything. Like I
We went into
I know
the
what
bunghole.
Blighttown is.
Yeah, we went through the bunghole. Yeah.
Yeah.
Blight Town bunghole.
So it's looking like I think we could just temporarily say it might be Bloodborne next. We'll figure it out.
Maybe. Either
they-
that
there's
or
no good way to
Elden
play that
Ring. I
game.
don't know. See.
I guess I want to know when that Tarnished edition comes out. I want to know
Yeah.
if it comes out at a decent time. Then yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, look for that stuff. Noah wants to get that Doll's Nest review up at some point.
I do. Yep.
Don't bank on it yet. I mean, just give him
Yeah.
some patience on it.
Yep.
But he's mentioned he wanted to do that. So
Yes. Yep.
yeah, we got some stuff cooking. We've been playing a lot of video games. At some point, we're gonna put some
Well,
stuff
yeah, I'll
talking about
probably put out
specific
some stuff talking about Bravely Default. I don't know if you'd want to
Yeah, please,
wait
please.
for me to, or you would want me to wait for you on that, or if you'd want me to put something out on that myself, or
Let's okay. So let's see how far we get.
Mhm.
If give me a week or so. If I don't
Mhm.
get in a good spot with it, in a groove, then yeah, maybe take it.
Yeah.
We'll play it by ear there.
Okay.
I'm not against it. Maybe we
Yeah.
could just talk about it on the podcast later too. If I need to catch up, we'll figure it out.
Yeah.
We got a lot going on. So, yeah, that's another episode. This is a gigantic episode. This
Yes.
is maybe our most jam-packed in terms of content. So
big one.
enjoy
Yep.
this. It's a big one. We're going to try to watch Shampoo in the next couple weeks. If we don't do it next week, we'll do it the following. And yeah, keep gaming, baby. That was a good one.
Yep. Play video games.